you ready for it?
I'm a real tough kid, I can handle my shit. They said fake it, gotta fake it till you make it, and I did.
I'm just a terrible person, I guess.
Lights, camera, bitch. Even when you wanna die. Breaking down, I hit the floor. All the pieces of me shattered as the crowd was chanting more. With a broken heart.
Who's afraid of a little old thing?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I am the Raging Tomato. This evening, I have Nobleness D with me. And don't take offense, Nobleness D, but I did put you in a small picture only because you're just an avatar. And I figured, well, they can look at two of us and only one of us is cammed up, or they can get a bigger version of me and a small portion of you. Is that okay?
I think it was a great image. You're almost doing a thinker pose there in that image. Yeah,
Like that.
kind of. You know that's a Mandela effect, eh?
Doing this instead
The
of, what is
original,
it,
it's the
this?
fist to forehead. Yeah,
Which one's the original?
the fist to forehead.
This is the original?
Yeah, but you know
Really?
what? You know what's really jacked is that if you go and look at the image, I might have one here somewhere, but the elbow to the arm that is to the forehead is on the
Mm.
opposite leg. Like it's jacked.
Oh, how do
Yeah, it's
you?
if you look at if someone goes and takes a
I'm
look at
trying
that,
to do that now.
it's
I'm
so
trying to
hard.
figure that out
Yeah, to
already.
do the pose that the thinker's doing now is like really, really hard to do.
You'd have to
It's
be
so
a
uncomfortable.
gymnast.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of pre-celebrating tonight, D. You want to know why?
I've seen it's your 1 year coming up.
It's our 1 year coming up, and we're so close. Let's see, where are we at? Tomorrow night, we will be celebrating. I hope I need 5 more subscribers, and then we can celebrate our 4K yay tomorrow. But I also decided to celebrate our 1 year anniversary for live streaming as well. So I got a little excited,
Mhm.
a little in advance. So expect me to only halfway understand half of this conversation this evening, but
Is that champagne?
it's prosecco.
Nice.
I got a few little bottles for myself, but I figured that, like, when I was making the little trailer video today for the 1 year, I just got so sentimental looking at all of these old interviews and debates and kind of how things have formed and developed, that I wanted to tear up. I got so sentimental. So cheers. We are pre celebrating in hopes that we'll get 5 more subscribers today. And then we can also kind of pre celebrate our year mark. Does that sound good to the chat? I hope so. Does that sound good to you, D?
For sure. I'll tell you though, probably by the time we get halfway through this, you're gonna need another bottle.
Well, I got 3 of these little bad boys, and they, I think, are the equivalents of like 3/4 of a bottle, a full bottle. So it's my way of not actually finishing a whole bottle and kind of controlling it. Because if I open a bottle, I just feel the need to finish it. I don't know. It's just
With any
something I
luck,
do.
I should blow a few minds. So
Well, my mind's already getting blown. But shout out to everybody in the chat. This show could not be here without you. I've said this a million and one times, but it also couldn't be here without these fine panelists who come on to talk about all these different things, such as Nobleness D, who's going to tell us about the Mandela effect. So let's start with the basic question: what on earth is the Mandela effect?
well, I like to define the Mandela effect simply as a situation. And that situation is that there are things in essentially reality, you could say in the world, um, that's not the way many people remember it. And many people remember it differently the same way.
And so this effect, do you feel like it's to a certain age group of people?
It's certainly people need to be of some age to have some history or some past to their knowledge and their experiences. So it's not entirely an age thing, no, but it leans that way pretty far. Yeah, like if you're under 30, you're probably not going to catch a whole lot if
Right.
things, you know.
But it would certainly, I feel, at least based on a lot of stuff I've seen, I feel like a lot of this actually affects 90s kids because a lot of the
Mm.
stuff I saw, I'm like, this is everything I remember. Like, this is my childhood flashing before my eyes. So, would you say that like 90s kids just had some kind of weird blip go on or something?
It definitely falls within the 90s kids range and the 80s kids range, definitely.
Yeah.
And then after that, really, culture slowed down a lot, sadly, because of the internet. But at the same time, people got to see
Culture. Hold on. What do you mean by culture slowed down?
things that are unique to each decade. You know, I don't see, you
Hmm.
know, when I think of the 80s, the 90s, I don't, and I keep waiting for more time to go by, but I don't really see like what was the 2000s, what was the 2010s. Like you can point some things out, but
Yeah.
it's not as unique to the decade.
So, do you think things slowed down? I felt like they sped up.
Are you referring to the? I'm referring to culture type of
Yeah,
stuff.
but that's how I feel. I feel like everything kind of sped up a little faster. Like,
Perhaps. I mean, in ways, you're right. Nothing really hangs around long.
hmm, yeah, yes. Like every trend that happens, there's just like another one right behind it, another one right behind it, another, and it just keeps going and going and going and going.
Right.
Whereas, like, and maybe it could just be because it was my childhood, so maybe things kind of moved slower in a sense. But I feel like the '90s were very like straightforward, blunt, and you could point out exactly what happened in the '90s and like the culture and what it was and what it wasn't. Whereas 2000 and beyond, I feel like you start getting into some kind of weird riff where like there's just too many trends and culture changes and things going on that it's like, did anything even stick?
For sure. There's a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So where does that bring us with the Mandela effect then? In terms of you were saying it slowed down like after 2000.
Well,
Um,
culture stuff. The Mandela effect, the majority of the Mandela effect changes took place either before or at 2016, 2017. Like there was a big amount. Now, in the beginning, it was many things came to light. So when
mm-hmm.
did that possibly sort of so-called change? We don't know. But we know for sure between like mid 2016 and mid or the end of 2017, there was a lot of changes. And because we would seen things and then it would be different. Like we were
Mm-hmm.
tracking some changes essentially, or we caught them before and after. But in
Mm-hmm.
the beginning, it was like just things we don't know when it changed, you know, or when that wasn't that way anymore. And then at that time, like towards the end of 2016, the changes coming to light was it was just epic. Like every couple of days or every 2 or 3 days, there'd be another big change, blow your mind. So it was really hot and subject and really mind blowing to people that were following it closely, and a very limited amount of channels working on it. Very few people. Like it didn't really go very mainstream. Some of
Mm-hmm.
it did kind of, but it was very sort of kosher product and entertainment stuff. Didn't really get too deep. And as I mentioned there the other day to you, like as the Mandela effect was peaking, was the exact time that everybody was focused on Hillary and Trump, and you know some conspiracy people
Whoa.
think you know that's probably of no coincidence that that's where the world was focused at the time. You know,
Hillary and Trump. Okay.
at the end of
Well, do
2016.
you think that maybe like because that would have been more nostalgia coming around, and again, a lot of these things came from like late '80s, early '90s. Do you think that maybe the nostalgia was coming around and people were actually looking for these items? And now we have the internet at our fingertips and it's moving faster than ever. So maybe that allowed the ability to go back and check.
Yeah, to some degree, and most definitely it allowed people to communicate about it or bring it up and point things out to other people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things you don't notice. I mean, people don't notice because why would you? Why would you think that something isn't the way it's supposed to be, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
mind and your memory actually does a lot of filling in the blanks automatically. And that's one thing with our memories is that, and some things we had to deal with when communicating with people. They're like, "Oh, I just saw that the other day. It was the other way." It's like, "Are you sure? Did you really look and make note of that, or did you assume you've seen it that way?" Right? Because
Right.
our minds fill in a lot. You know, when we walk around every day, there's thousands, if not millions, of things that we see and hear. We're not making note of all this, right? So our
Right.
memories are more on the um, significant things to that particular topic or that particular thing. You know,
Yeah. So what is it in the brain? What goes on in your head that makes you believe you saw something when you didn't?
I don't quite follow that question.
Like,
There's
okay,
memory.
for instance, like if you were involved in a crime, right? Or like you witnessed a crime, the police naturally want to get your statement right then and there as soon as possible because if time goes by, like your brain starts like people will say, "Oh no, it was a blue truck. No, it was a white truck. No, it was a red truck."
Mhm.
And in all reality it was yellow. So what is it in our brains that makes us kind of like change things? And if there's an answer to that, then what made something change for so many people?
And change in the same way.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I would argue that nothing changed at all. It wasn't that way. Now it's a different way. But um, yeah, when it comes to, I mean, I've heard this type of sort of argument before, and it's very true. You know, when
Mhm.
especially in extreme circumstances, your mind doesn't work great. Your memory isn't necessarily trying to pick out the details ahead of time. But many of the changes are that of things that you've seen over and over and over, or you heard a song over and over and over. You've memorized that song. Some things is like people would refer to it as someone has an anchor memory for that, meaning there's
Mhm.
other corresponding memories that kind of proves in their mind that that's the way it was. Like there's these connecting memories that has to be the way the certain thing was, right?
Mhm.
Sort of becomes an anchor memory for them.
Hmm. Well, but then we have an anchor memory for dozens of people. Or not even dozens, like thousands of people.
When it comes to some of these changes, yeah. Well, and much
Yeah.
more than that. I mean, there's definitely evidence, a lot of really good evidence in some cases that
Hmm.
people in the Mandela effect sort of communities refer to as residue. But there's most certainly there's some physical evidence. There's documented evidence. We've got, you know, you can go to places like the patent. I forget what it is. The patent website. There's a long title for them.
Mhm.
But yeah, like U.S. patents. You know, there's many things you can reference to or look for evidence or residue involving the information that you're looking into. But
Mhm.
I can list off some of the sort of topics or categories of the Mandela effect.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me leave the studio and come right back in.
Sure.
Weird. It's still doing something funny on my not you or anything like that. It's like doing my comments all weird. I don't know why. Why is it doing that? Hmm. Why is it doing that? Oh, that's why. Okay, just because one hadn't come in yet. And D, thank you, because you just solved my problem. Actually, it wasn't showing the starred column, and I couldn't figure out why, but now it is. So thank you, D, the degenerate. Member for 3 whole months. Thank you so much. Congrats on 1 year. I'm glad I found your channel. Well, I'm glad I found you, D. Thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, let's list them off. Let's go.
Sure. And I'd like to say I'm glad I found you, and I'm very grateful for you having me on the show discussing this topic.
Mhm.
And I'm grateful that I get basically like a pretty large set of new ears to hear some information on it that haven't heard me talk before, and
Yeah.
perhaps people that haven't really been into this topic too much in the past.
I like the idea of this topic because I was, I think I was telling you backstage last time, I was like, I'm kind of getting tired of the same stuff. I want something different. And you just so happened to be telling me about the Mandela effect. And I'm like, let's do this. This is so cool.
For
Anyways,
sure.
back to you.
I certainly, I'll tell you a little bit. Like, I certainly made this a part of my life back in 2016 and 17 and 18 and probably longer. Like, I literally took some of my life off to try to figure out what was going on. I found it pretty extreme situation. I had concerns because I have no idea what's going on, or maybe going on, or not going on.
Hmm.
People were coming up with claims and questions when it came to quantum computers and CERN, the particle collider, um, things within religions. And I had a technical background, like in electronics, so at least maybe had the ability to research into some of that stuff. I was brought up in a fairly strict Christian religion, so I had some Bible stuff behind me as well. Geography, I was a huge geography buff growing up. Like, I loved it. I remember in elementary, I would win the flashcard contest like every quarter.
Oh,
Oh yeah, right to the point
I
that the
was
teacher wouldn't even let me go. He'd make me go last.
I was terrible at those. Like any history, geography, and I'm just like, nope, not my thing. Math, I was a math whiz. Reading, writing, good, like beautiful.
Wow.
But freaking history and geography, like because it's memory based, like it's all memory based, and I could never remember. Like I couldn't retain the information long enough to get through it. Like I had to come up with a lot of different ways just to get through quizzes and tests because I'm like, I don't know. 1490 what? I don't know who that is.
Right. My history wasn't
Anyways.
really strong. My geography was. I'm a math and science person. My English was weak, fairly weak. So that's
Yeah.
impressive that you were both good in math and English, because that's usually
That is that
different
is
sides.
rare. That is rare. I loved math. I advanced in math so much that by my junior year I ran out of math classes. Like they had nothing else for me.
Wow.
That I could take because I doubled up every year. So it was, I don't know. I love numbers. I'm a numbers person. I follow numbers. It's like more pattern oriented. But they say if you're really good at music, then you're more likely to be good at math and vice versa. And then reading and writing, I always loved because it's creativity based.
Right.
So anything that's like challenges your mind to create something new. I loved that. I loved
That's
all of that.
good.
Anyways, but
Yeah.
back to you.
So I'll also mention I found out about the Mandela effect. Like, I wasn't a Facebook person. I wasn't really on social media back in 2016 too much. And what had happened in my case, I started, and it's a whole story of its own and get a whole backstory and stuff that come up. But generally speaking, I started getting memories from when I was super young, like impossible, like 2 years old, 1 year old. Like, I was like, how am I remembering this shit? So I literally Googled, because I thought, well, maybe I can help it out, right? Maybe there's something I can eat or exercises, I don't know, to help with this memory recall. Because this was like blowing my mind. It was it's strange, very strange. I was remembering things way beyond any age I thought I ever could. And when I Googled, I literally found out about the Mandela effect by Googling remembering memories. And then all this crud started getting in my way called the Mandela effect.
Hmm.
And then I ended up taking a look at it. One of the very first ones that really blew me away was Sex in the City, which is now Sex and the City, which is, I don't even know how people can mix those two together. I know
Wait,
there's a,
it's not Sex in the City.
you don't fucking know that? Oh, girl, it's going to be a long night for you.
Oh my God! Now I'm already behooved. I remember Sex in the City. Like I
Yes, sir.
remember that.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah, I
mix
think
up
it was like
IN and
HBO that it came on and everything. Like,
yeah, it was now officially never according to current history, it was never Sex in the City. It was always Sex and the City. You should, I got a nice clip
That
of.
doesn't even make sense.
Thanks.
The sentence, it's not even, no, it doesn't even make sense.
Oh, this is going to be a rough night for you. I have an amazing collection, a video made up of different awards shows where the different casts of Sex and the City are receiving awards, and the announcer constantly is saying "Sex in the City," and then also in that same clip, we can run it here if you want, but
You have it? You have it
oh yeah,
queued up?
you want to see it because you never
Yeah.
knew this. You'd like this. Of course, it would
I
probably hit you
never,
harder if you got to see all of the current situation.
I'm already gone. There's more of this stuff. You already stumped me on the first one.
I can't believe you
And
never heard of that one. Yeah, that
no,
one
I haven't.
to me, that's 100% hands down. There's absolutely no way. Like I can put my life on that change. It was not Sex and the City. Like
Yeah, I
I've bought
remember.
seasons for girlfriends. It used to go up. Another main reason, like the Telecaster on the cable TV, you get to see what's coming up.
Yeah,
It would say Sex in the City. It had the word sex in it. That was a big deal back then, right?
right.
That was a super big deal. And like I've seen it thousands of times. There's no way
Wow.
I'm going to.
See, I never even watched the show, but I remember just always seeing the trailers for it, the previews, and it always popping up on the thing, and back when we had the guides, the TV guides that popped up on the screen. Like I remember that. I don't remember it saying and.
Yeah, and actually, this is one where there's quite a few youngish, more so people that knew it the old way.
Mm-hmm.
Because they seen it in their younger years a little bit. At least reference to it.
Jake says in 10 years it'll be Sex at the City.
No kidding. Oh, don't say that. I'll cry.
Mandela effect round 2.
All right. Keeping in mind, it is now currently Sex and the City everywhere you look. Here's some evidence, residue, however you want to see it.
Here are this year's nominee for Best Actress in a TV series, musical, or comedy. Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex and the City. Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex and the City.
Oh, he definitely said in.
Here are this year's nominees for Best Actress in a TV series comedy.
You wait to see the end of
Sarah
this.
Jessica Parker, Sex in the City.
That one's muted. Did you hit mute or something? Nobleness. Nobleness D. Did you hit mute or something?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mute, and it killed the audio.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. We just
You
cut it
must
back
be
like
listening
5 seconds.
through my headphones.
That's
wonder-
okay.
That audio was fine the way it was, though?
Yeah, audio is fine.
Okay, that's funny. It was like maybe I didn't share audio in the screen share. 1 second.
Yeah,
I'm just going to bring it back up and
Okay.
make sure I do the share audio with that window share. Oh, I see. With the window share, it doesn't like that. Oh, okay. You can hear it through my mic, so I'll do that. Yeah, I'll start it back a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it
The
turned
City.
up.
Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex and the City.
Here are this year's nominees for Best Actress in a TV series comedy.
Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex in the City.
Nominees for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series are
Kim Cattrall, Sex and the City. Kristen Davis, Sex and the City. Megan Mullally, Will and Grace. Cynthia Nixon, Sex and the City, of course. Doris Roberts, Everybody Loves Raymond.
okay, and the Emmy goes to Cynthia Nixon. Sex and
Here are the nominees.
Yeah.
Kim Cattrall, Sex and the City.
Every time.
Will and Grace.
Cynthia Nixon, Sex and the City.
Parker Posey, Hell on Heels, The Battle of Mary Kay.
Jenna Rollins, hysterical blindness.
And the winner is Kim Cattrall, Sex and the City.
The nominees for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy are Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex and the City.
And the Emmy goes to... Dead.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker has received 10 Emmy nominations for her work on Sex and the City as an actress and a producer.
Wow.
Are the nominees?
Yeah.
Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex and the City.
Golden Globe goes to
Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex and the City.
Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex and the City.
Kim Cattrall, Sex and the City. Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex in the City.
Before we talk about Sex and the City, of course, your film career has been amazing.
The first movie I did when we ended the TV series of Sex and the City, so it was such a nice sort of change. I mean, she was such a tight, controlled, holding, clearing.
She went like that the whole time. Well, you brought up Sex and the City again, so I mean, yes. Do you miss it? I mean, do you?
Sure.
Honestly, why can't they have another show like Sex and the City?
I don't. Maybe there can't be one. I mean, maybe there can't be one.
You have
right? Do you mean like another show like Sex and the City, or do you mean another Sex and the City?
Well, I'd like another Sex and the City personally, because I mean, the writing was so great, and the chemistry.
Writing.
I mean, again, I get my iPad out, and if I can't sleep, I'm like, what season should I watch? I think I'll watch the 8 and perhaps another Sex and the City movie.
So who knows? Who knows?
Wow.
Yeah, but it's just misremembering bad memories, right? It's just us dumb people with bad memories.
I don't get it because they said it like even Sarah Jessica Parker said it so many times.
And clarified herself in one case there.
Yeah.
As well. So is she just got a bad memories to the name of her own show?
I don't know, but that's cringe.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that was one of them.
It's an epic one. It was one hands down for me right off the bat. I was like, what?
Wow. Maybe, okay. Do you think maybe they just tried to change the name of the show later and then tried to just kind of scoot it under the rug?
No, I remember early on because, I'm certainly was theorizing absolutely any possibility. The concept of reality changing is absurd level of theory. It'd be more likely of a psyop, a digital psyop, an internet psyop, brainwashing, anything, right? Is more likely of a situation than literally reality is the timeline's changing or reality changing or something, Of course, some people think multiple realities and whatnot, but and so early on, I remember I was questioning a lot. I didn't have my hands on a lot of physical old objects. I had to get, to go beyond the internet, took some time to start checking VHS tapes, LPs, go into the really core old vintage stuff. But I remember seeing like videos of like women up in their attic and they're with their cell phone, they pull out Sex and the City. They're like, oh my God, this was not Sex and the City or Sex and the City when I put it up here. So yeah.
I mean, grammatically, it doesn't even make sense.
It certainly does. It isn't the same quite clearly to me.
Right.
Like mix up a IN for an A and D. Like,
right.
It's absurd.
Yeah. The thinker statue has changed. You should like randomly continue changing your avatar from the old one to the new one and then like really throw them off. All right. I put in a poll. Let's see. I'm going to give you 60 seconds to hit the poll. So hit the poll. Is it Sex in the City or Sex and the City? Which one do you remember? Look, even Yahooligan says, did people think it was Sex and the City? Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I was like, wait, this is a thing?
That is the fact of the matter right now. Like that is fact of the world right now. I'm not saying that's a fact of the way it used to be, but that's the fact of the world right now. According to current history, it is Sex and the City and always has been. And you will not find any direct physical, basically you won't find any direct physical item that says Sex in the City. There was a perfume thing that says Sex in the City, but actually I believe it was a knockoff, and probably previously it was all inverted. So that used to say Sex in the City is my best guess, but it was a knockoff item. I looked into the company and its origins, and it was just a knockoff company, so it wasn't real product.
So how would like presuming, I mean, my brain says, okay, they just went back and changed everything. Like that's what my head wants to say. Like they just went back and changed everything.
What do you mean by go back?
Like I don't know,
Like
go
the
back
internet?
and like the shows, the trailers, the merch, like, but you can't, right?
People
But
had these DVDs and VHSs in their homes, right?
and did the DVDs and VHSs show in or and?
That's all the official stuff says AND. There is no IN to be found for the most part.
Then how are we all thinking it said in?
Because that's the way it used to be, if you ask me. Now, how is that? Well, that's a big question, and something that human beings are not too comfortable in considering and accepting if they figure out the truth. Is it's not settling. Reality is.
Are we in a matrix? Did they go back and change everything?
I would say the matrix or simulation is an all right analogy, but yeah, it's reality is malleable, and probably if you were to reference it closer to something magical would be a better analogy.
Magical.
But did somebody change it? So we're assuming intent, and in many of these cases, I don't think there was intent behind the changes. The changes are sort of somewhat natural, but maybe something else was going on that caused something that was slightly unnatural to our situation, and we're getting errors and odd changes that isn't normal to us, right? And we're starting to notice. So there probably is a lot of things going on, maybe things that are being manipulated or changed. And let's say like the changes that we see are probably often a little more indirect or fingerprints to other things, other activity going on. That's sort of where I lay in that for many reasons. I will mention, like, so this falls under the category, and Sex in the City is a very mainstream, as I like to label it, kosher change. There's a ton of changes that fall under the category that I call product and entertainment, and all that's man-made ideas, right? Those are, I mean, people know them. You know, there's a change for everybody, but there's also a lot of other changes that made the situation very shocking for many people. Song lyrics is a big one, actually. I'm really into. I was into for a long time. I really like the song lyrics. And a lot of times the way that the lyrics have changed, there's a different meaning created, and it's sometimes very interesting. But that could still fall in within the entertainment, but I sort of section off song lyrics because there's so much of it and it's so interesting. Geography is huge, and that's a big one that hit me to the core. I remember the very first geography one. I was watching this video of this guy, and he's showing North and South America and saying, why is South America so far east? I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, that seems off. And like, just right away, I'm like, I don't know what this guy's showing me. I went right to Google Maps myself, right? Because I don't believe the video. I go to it, I'm looking at North and South America, I'm like, that is so jacked. Like, why is South America so far over? And I pulled the page over, I seen where Japan was, and I almost puked. Like, I almost got sick to my stomach to see where Japan was. It blew me away.
You mean like in terms, like we know the globe, right? We look at the Earth, like the big maps and stuff. What are you saying? Is Japan shifted bigger, different way, or something, or?
It's broke up into more pieces, and some people would say it's farther north, some say farther south, but it depends what you're referencing it to. The geography is very tricky, and it took a handful of people, me and a few others that are really good at geography, had a really good foundation, to realize or figure out what was probably going on. Because anytime you say something's too big, too small, too far up, down, like, in reference to what, right? So everything on the globe, there's so many things, it's so jacked that sometimes people see the same change, but they'll explain it different because what they're referencing to. Generally speaking, I'll say that the globe is shrinking. It's one. It certainly looks like, because if you try to put South America back, it just don't fit. So it looks like the globe has either shrunk or is shrinking. It looks like a lot of the continents have drifted towards the north. Within geography, I'll mention a few off the list now. There was never an ice cap. Now, within our lifetimes, recent human history, there was never a northern ice cap. It's always been a broken ocean of ice. I'm Canadian. Like, to me, that's jacked. I literally looked into the thickness of ice long ago, and it was sort of looked at as the Arctic ice cap was hundreds of feet thick, and the southern ice cap was like a kilometer or two, or like a mile and a half, right? Thick.
So
now more Arctic ice cap.
So someone says globes used to have a white metal circle at the top. Now you can't find. Is that what you're saying?
Precisely. That as well.
I feel like it's down below. I feel like now it's at the bottom or something.
There is an Antarctic ice cap, but yes, on all the globes, there was always a big white ice cap on the top. And now any globe you find, no matter what its age, if there is no more white cap on the top, that never existed according to current history.
That's how I remember seeing like the globes at school and stuff. Somebody else asked a question. I just had it up. Now I have to rethink of what it was again. Where was it? Oh, poo. Somebody said it was something along the lines of what's the point of making the changes, right? What's the point of changing?
Right.
That
has the assumption behind it that these changes was intended to be changed. I don't even think that's necessarily the case.
So, I mean, what would the motive be to even trigger a memory difference, or to trigger? And here's how I think of it. Right? Do you know there's they're kind of like magicians, but not necessarily magicians. More like almost like hypnosis, but they say something like, okay, I'm going to tell you 3 words. And I'm going to say canary, sunshine, and I don't know, submarine or something. And then I'm going to say, what's 9 plus 3? And then what's 5 plus 6? What's blah, 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 all these other different things. And then they say, I'll bet I can guess what color you're thinking of. And then they say yellow. You're thinking of the color yellow, right? And that would make sense because you literally led my brain to getting there.
Right.
Right? Like you set the path, and a person with a typical mindset would run down that path and be like, yes, that's what I was thinking of. Why? Because you told me canary, submarine, and sunshine, which are all yellow things. So what does that do? That triggers my brain to think yellow, especially when you say think of a color. So I'm wondering if this were really a conspiracy theory, right? And everybody remembers things a certain way, right? And we're all like, no, that's not how I remembered. Maybe things going forward were changed or shifted in order to gear those who don't remember or can't remember to believing a certain pathway, right? If we really want to rabbit hole this and really want to get weird in conspiracy theory, if I wanted you to think about something a certain way, then I need to set a very specific path to get you there psychologically.
Right.
So maybe us people in the 90s, we already remember, we were already there. We're like, no, that's not what that was. But then going forward, anybody else who wasn't there and doesn't remember has been set onto a specific path. So if they see those things, they will trigger certain thoughts or something. Just the same as being a social influencer, like social media influencer, so on and so forth, like during the elections, you see people like throwing videos out left and right, Democratic, Republic, whatever, and they're like slowly feeding you all this crazy stuff that may not be directly telling you go vote this way, but can indirectly be something that influences you to think, yeah, that would make total sense. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that, I don't know, does that make sense at all? Am I crazy?
Kind of. It'd be pretty tricky to do at the scale of changes that there is, possibly, one would think. I can tell you, like, in early on, it was pretty clear that people, without even hounding them, people often were getting upset very quickly when you asked them questions, which something wasn't the way it was, without them even really being totally confronted with the situation, only minorly. Like, I remember a guy in the front of a grocery store, he'd go to somebody, Jif or Jiffy peanut butter, and the person freaked out on them. Like, what's your problem, dude? But people, yeah, like, and a lot of people reported that, like, they tell somebody about it and people were getting really mad. Now there may be sort of a subconscious mechanism that makes you want to reject, when your reality shattered, you don't like that. It makes sense. But yeah, there was certainly a lot of strange things going on. The question whether people on one side of the page or the other was if they had some hypnosis thing going on. I mean, we do all look at screens all day, right? That was certainly something I strongly considered. I did a fair bit of research into hypnosis. Honestly, it looks like a lot of
frequency waves. There's a whole thing about frequency waves too, right? Where whether it's through music, radio, TV, whatever. I mean, you could be sending out frequencies one way or the other in all sorts of medias. But like even frequency, can't even talk, frequency waves you can send out, like essentially to kind of make things go one way or the other or something, right? Something like that. Am I right?
Yeah, you never know. Well, we just don't know how high technology could be in certain types of technology. But the evidence, from what I gathered and what I analyzed, there's quite a few people that seen the majority of the changes that were the type of people that said, like, yeah, I went to a hypnosis thing and they couldn't hypnotize me. Often it looks like the people that were seeing the changes were less likely to be the ones that might be some sort of hypnosis affecting. Not saying it was, but there's also a thing called like memory updates, and lots of people had claimed that they would watch people take a memory update in front of them when they asked them the question. I don't see it. I think there is a memory update.
What's up? What is a memory update?
Good question. So the example, the common example that people would talk about is they would ask somebody, let's go with Sex in the City. They would say, what's the name of this Sarah Jessica Parker's famous show, Sex what? And they would say instinctively, just like you would say your own name or something you don't really have to think about, they would say Sex in the City. And they're like, oh, well, it's Sex and the City now. And then they would stop and they put their head up and they would think, and they look, you could see them thinking, and they'd be like, oh yes, now I remember, yeah, it's Sex and the City. This was happening constantly. And people were like, I watched them take an update in front of me, right? Now, I think I know what was happening, and this is a little weird. Basically, what was happening was that they were remembering a memory for the first time. And that sounds weird. So to me, and it comes to some of my personal experiences, primarily actually, the memory updates are somehow information comes to you during your REM sleep, and your own subconscious creates a scenario to normalize the new way, and uses your own memories, like your own experiences, your own life, to create a scenario and play that out in a dreamlike state and store it in long-term memory. Now, during REM sleep is when your short-term memories turn into long-term memories. That's what I think is going on. I'll give you an example as to one thing that happened to me very early on that made me realize that something was really up here. So when I first found out about it, within a week or two, I went back and visited my ex-girlfriend. We were still friends. We had only been broken up a very short period of time. And I went to her. I was like telling her about, you know, Sex in the City and all this and that. And I'm like, yeah, do you remember when we were in the grocery store and you picked up the box of Fruit Loops and you go, Fruit Loops? When did they change that? And I said, oh, they must have changed it because there's no real fruit in it and they legally had to change it. And then you picked up the box of Captain Crunch, only says Cap and Crunch. And I said, oh, it must have changed company hands and they had to change it for legality reasons or something. I'm like, do you remember that? And she's like, no.
It's not Captain?
No. And she's like, it's C-A-P, I think apostrophe N is how it goes.
Oh,
Captain. And she's like, no. And I'm like, you don't remember that? That was only like 2 or 3 weeks ago. She's like, no. And that's not instantly, but probably within the same day. That's when I realized we hadn't been to the grocery store together for months. I mean, like we were already broke up and living together, right? Like we were still living together for many months. I'm like, we didn't even go out anywhere together for months. But this memory to me was only like weeks old, like 3 weeks max. And that's when I realized, like, that isn't even a real memory. Because even when I tried to, because it was kind of foggy, like a dreamish, and when I tried to pin other things to it, and this is one of the things for a person should do, is to analyze that memory in a way like what happened before, what happened after, was it daytime, was it nighttime, what surrounding memories is there to that memory, and often there's nothing. And it's the whole memory is focused on the one topic, right? And these are what I call memory update memories, and it was literally created by your own subconscious to normalize a change. Now, why? I don't know. You know, is this forced on us? Is this a normal thing for humans to do? Perhaps it's the way we exist. Our subconscious is very powerful, and there's something funky going on within that realm. I'm just trying to explain it to you the best I can. There's so many ways I could sort of go about that, but yeah, there's definitely something going on with updates. And so often, many times people will be like, I have dual memories. I don't understand why I have dual memory of this situation. One's a more instinctive memory, or the normal to them, right? And then they have this specific visual scenario, whereas it's very specific and very clear and fairly clear, strong memory, because actually it only happened within a couple weeks ago, even though the setting of that memory was when you were like 10, 20 years younger, right?
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know this is some crazy ass shit, but that's like legit. That's what's going on. How and why, I don't know for sure, but it's something within that realm. Anyway.
Well, if my memory serves me right, Gestural comes in with the big 5. He says, if reality is malleable, how do I add inches? Now, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, because, you know, she could always say later, like, is big. How big? Big. But in reality, is that just her memory, or was it really? And Jester, I'll come up with another 5. He says these changes might just be side effects of a much bigger change we don't know about. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to set a pathway to lead people in a direction, you have to actually set the pathway, you know, and that has to be very specific. So if I want you to think of the color blue, I'm going to direct you in such a way by either having the colors of the room or certain words, or like what was that movie where they were all like they were all magicians, like cards and everything like that. There was a whole bunch of them, and they were like basically plotting a scheme to what was it called? I think Woody Allen's in it. But they were plotting a big heist, but they were all doing it with just a trick of the hand. And even more so, Will Smith and Margot Robbie. There was a scene, what was that movie called? Oh my God, I can't even think of anything right now. But they were basically, they bet. They made people bet, and they were kind of like con artists. And he made her make a bet or like be the guesser of something, and that he knew like he had already set up the day in so many ways by like having certain people interact with people a certain way in certain times and have numbers flashing this way and that and yada, yada, yada. And like he literally set the path for that person to believe a certain thing. So that's what I'm saying is like, if there is a change that we don't know about, and maybe those things have been changed for maybe not us 90s kids, because we all were like, no, I remember that. But for the 2000s kids, they're very malleable, right? They all have social media flying in their faces and all these things, but maybe any type of looking back kind of stuff, like they're setting the pathway to lead down to some specific thing that we're supposed to believe in. Sounds crazy. I feel crazy saying it, but I'm just trying to explain it in a way where we're obviously going to be rabbit holing all night. So, and Wrongful Rage coming up with the Big 10. Happy year of modding, these talking trolls and talking heads. May the next year be greater than the last. And you know, the modding actually has only really kicked off probably in like August. That's when I really like set sail with the moderating, and that's been swell. I'm really excited and I'm looking forward to more. We're getting there. And then one more NPC. And I wanted to include that the clips of the awards, but I had 3 minutes for it and it was minimalized, and I was like, I'm going to save that for something special. But NPC coming in with a big 75. I swear it was Sarah the Raging Tomato, not the Raging Tomato. Yes, I am Sarah the Raging Tomato, but the channel is called the Raging Tomato. So I have Mandela affected all of you, but don't worry if you type it in. It works out both ways. It'll still bring you here. Chuck in Tennessee coming in with the Big 5. Think about text messages, often misspelled words, but our brain translates it correctly.
For sure.
D, what say you?
You automatically fill in the blanks. There's so much during the day that you just assume, and that's why when it was. See, there was times when people like, well, that's not when it changed for me. It changed for me at this point. And it's like, well, that's when they actually noticed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, they were probably assuming it was Sex in the City. And they didn't really look at it, believe it or not. Your mind fills in a lot. So that was one of the discussions going on as to when did it change for you? Or are we all in our own little reality bubbles? What's going on here, right? But really, I think a lot of it has to do with our minds fill in a lot of blanks automatically, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I'll carry on a little bit here. If you're done, with the donuts.
Yeah, go ahead.
The geography was huge for me, and I had really good background in that. Bible changes, which let me tell you, there are some Christians, and I guess you'd say Christians with the Bible, that were just floored, like tears, praying, like you name it, right? Because they knew some of this stuff really good and it hit them hard. Some of the Bible changes. People being alive or dead. I mean, it's named after Nelson Mandela being back alive. And that wasn't one where, I could bet my life on him dying long ago. It seemed to be familiar to me, but I didn't know. There was some other people that came along. I didn't actually make a list. I know Billy Graham had come up. I kind of remember my grandmother crying because Billy Graham died, and that was like so long ago, maybe like the late 80s. But yeah, so that was a tricky scenario, is to try to figure out like a model as to what was going on. Like, how could people be dead and be back alive again? Like, how does that work, right? Like, to make a model of reality, that's a tricky one. And for me to make that work, and I did. Body changes, the human body, and some animal still body changes, maybe even some new animals. I wouldn't push too hard.
What?
But yeah, I'm not going to personally claim too much on new animals, but definitely there's body changes.
How? What has changed?
Our heart used to be far more to the left, and now it's far more centered, almost completely centered. And it used to be fairly far to the left. I
did hear that actually, kind of, probably within the last year. I heard something about how your heart is more centered, and I was like, no, it's not, because like it's like here. I've like every body thing that I've ever seen, like from health class to science to whatever, biology, like it's always been left centered or left
Left to center, left side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
left to
And
center. Yeah.
it still does hang leftwards from the center, so it's not a great change of like solid, for people. You can argue around it or shove it off. But that's one that many people noticed. Body changes. What else here? Oh, one I clued into. It's a little bit of an odd thing. It involves the digestive system. Let me start at that end of the spectrum instead of the
Get
bottom
it?
end.
That end.
Yeah, no, literally at that end, because it's going to get to the other end. So I would ask, what is the difference between a large, you get your small intestine, your large intestine, and then it would be your colon and your anus and some different things. What is the difference? Oh, I just screwed up. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just totally screwed up because I was setting it a certain way. So anyway, I kind of ruined that. What is the difference between the large intestine and the colon? And that would have to be somebody that looked at, body stuff and sort of somewhat memorized it or knew it.
The large intestine is like it's the it's all wrapped around and crazy, and then
What is the colon is the key question.
That's down at the end, right?
It was. So now there is, essentially, if you ask me, there is no colon now. Right now, if you look it up, the colon is no different than the large intestine. It's the same thing. I used to look at the colon. Yeah, I used to look at the colon as basically like a garbage compactor. So similar to your butt, there was a second closing farther up. I had even researched into it for a biological argument against sodomy. Honestly, I had research into that years ago, right, to come up with a scientific argument, right, because everyone wants to go with science, okay, right? And it was like, what's the average length of the colon? Because you start going further and you're affecting something else. The second closing, that second closing no longer exists. The labeling of a colon is the exact same as your large intestine now. The only difference between the two is the large intestine includes like a gland or two that seep some fluids into your large intestine for digestion, but generally speaking, there's no difference between your large intestine and your colon. So if you ask me, there is no colon. So that's essentially gone. That's when I noticed.
So then what is colon cancer?
Well, it's still just a part of the large intestine, which is your colon now. It's just jacked. It hardly even makes any sense. You don't try to make sense of everything because there's a lot of shit that did not normalize properly, if you ask me. The eyes, one brief thing, and I'm not really solid on it, but majority of people's eyes now have a black ring around the color. No one remembers that. Or I shouldn't say nobody. Many people didn't remember that.
A black ring around the color of your eyes?
Yeah.
Mine's not black. Mine's dark green.
You don't have much. Yeah, you might
I'm telling you, I prided myself in not having. Let's see. Prided myself in not having. No, it's not black. It is actually a very more like an evergreen. Yes.
If you just Google like eyes, you'd be surprised. Almost like 80-90% of human eyes now have a dark black ring around the color.
No, mine don't.
Because I didn't remember it that way.
No, I'm telling you right now, I don't.
Again, not one I would bet my life on, but it seems odd to me.
Are yours black around your eyes?
I don't. And I had people tell me, yes, they are. Everybody's is. I'm like, no, they're not. But I can find many examples.
Maybe we've drawn enough pictures. Like, when you're a kid and you're drawing the eyes, it's black. And then you got to draw for the pupil and stuff. And then you like, yeah, maybe we've just drawn enough of them that's just how we perceive it. But no, mine are definitely like. We'll get all close and personal. It's definitely not black.
You might have a slight ring there, but it's not black ring. That's for sure.
No, it's definitely green.
Yeah.
Like it's just slightly darker than my actual eye color.
Yeah.
So.
Also with the eyes, something I noticed. The eyes, to me, used to have multiple. What do you call the cord? The optic nerves. The eyes used to have multiple optic nerves going to your eyes, and now it's a single optic nerve. Just one cord now. And also behind the eyes, I almost forgot about that. There's bone behind your eyes.
The nerves I always thought were like a bunch of them, and they're wrapped up, and then they
yes, like an octopus. Yes, that's not the case anymore. Now it's a single large optic nerve that goes to your eyeball. Yeah, legit. And you know what else is crazy? When I was really doing some research into that, our eyes now, that cord does go back into your brain and split into the 5 or 6 different different ones once it's way back in your brain.
Mhm.
But now, I say now because I really don't think it was the case before. If you damage one of those cords after it's split way back, you can your eyeball has both left and right vision. You can lose vision on the left side of one eye or the right side of one eye. I'm like, Jesus, I've never heard of this shit. But so yeah, I think that's part of it. So, and also when we were always taught and told we have two eyes, why? Well, so you can see distance, right? That was what we were taught. One eye is more straight, one's on a slight angle. Therefore, we can reference distance much better. Well, if now we can see a differential between left and right of each eyeball, we must have like better vision, like more like a 3D or whatever, a higher vision. Which some people I have heard early on was claiming. They were like, I woke up one morning, it's like everything was so vivid. I'm like, okay, I didn't notice that, but yeah, it's very strange.
Well, I mean, we have like peripheral, and I mean, we can, you know, like turn our eyes in. Like they both are doing their own thing, I think. Right?
And yeah, the bone behind the eye socket, which is very, very close to closed off. There's a little slit there, and then a little bit more of a slit a little bit more of a circle in the very middle that allows the optic nerve, the single now optic nerve, to go through. So the bone behind the eye is definitely something that had come up, was a pretty big one.
I don't. I always knew like it was like when you look at a skull, but then it goes like up. I've never heard of anything behind the eye. Like I thought the eyes were kind of tucked into the sockets here.
Yeah.
Like they're just kind of like muscularly they're holding in place.
Right, exactly. And now there's like, it's almost all bone. There's a slit across and a little bit more of a circle in a dot in the middle for the optic nerve that's a little bit larger. It's primarily bone now behind your eye. The brain, your brain has two lobes, a lobe on each side. It's so jacked. You'd have to look that one up. I'm not going to.
Wait, hold up. The brain
has lobes on the left. The left and right side each has this like lobes that's separate. It's so jacked. And also, actually, probably more when I'm just as confident with your what's the back part of your brain, cerebellum, is it? Is that on the back there, right? So now that is like. That used to sort of be down. It used to kind of go down towards your spine, like hang down the back of your brain, sort of elongated on the bottom area of your brain. Now it's only up and a ball up on the back side of your brain. So it's like the cerebellum's up higher and just in one ball, when it used to be a little bit elongated and it hung down farther. So that's weird. I mentioned the heart. Oh, the ovaries.
Do you think the cerebral, like because the cerebellum connects to, like, because you have thoracic, lumbar, and then cerebral, like your neck, right? Do you think because it probably connects to that, and maybe it's because your brain and your spine, like that's all just nerves, like everything on your nerves is just like, it's just webs of nerves going through your body everywhere, and they just all happen to meet up at the spine and then, you know, tree branch up to your brain.
Yep, it's just generally the look of it, the shape of it, and its location being more only on the higher end now and not low on the back of your head.
Okay, so for those though, do you think that could be more understood because we have better technology to see those things now?
We've been dissecting since many hundreds of years.
True. But when you're dissecting though, how do we know when they're dissecting it, like it stays in the right place and does the right thing and all, like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
The body changes are not fantastic examples of the Mandela effect, but I'm just throwing them out there. The other thing would be if you look at the ovaries used to go up and they would like J out a little bit once they went up.
Go up
they would
and
J
then
out. There you go. You know what they do now? Well, you should look at a picture of it. They don't go up much at all. They just go out and they just go sideways, like left and right. And there's actually a tissue now that connects back down. But you have to, yeah, just Google it, human ovaries, and look at images, and you'll see.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me pin this. All right, I've gone ahead. We're opening the panel because this is about to get lit. Ovaries.
I got some fantastic freaking. I could go on for hours and hours, but I got some fantastic music lyric changes. I think are
So you're saying goes up and jays around, but then you were saying what else happened? What else?
they more or less just go up a little bit and sideways now, almost completely, like left and right. They go. They sort of like they've come down and they got a connection, other tissue connection that comes down, making almost a triangle effect.
Well,
It's not the greatest change to point out, but
yeah. One of these shows them both completely up.
really,
Yeah, like bullhorns going upwards.
quite honestly, I haven't changed this stuff up in like 5 years.
I mean, I always looked at it as like a torus, you know, like out and then the little balls on the end or whatever. Yeah, this doesn't look much different from what I know.
They wrap right back around underneath. But yeah, if that's the way you remember it, that's fine. I think
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm
Hold on.
I don't want to.
I've got one backstage, MandelaEffects.net. Can you voice confirm for us, please?
What up? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What's popping?
Everything's popping. Are you going to show anything on screen that we shouldn't be looking at?
No, hell no, I'm not like that.
Are you sure?
Of course, positive.
Perfect. All right. Well, go.
All right.
Wait, I want to ask you about the animals. You were saying animals were changing.
Well, I don't want to get too much into that. The only thing I can personally
I do. I want to know what animals are changing.
Well, the only thing I can really confirm personally, like I'm confident in claiming, is even when you buy chicken wings now, like there's a nail that comes out at the elbow area. And to me, that's jacked. Like it's like a nail, like a finger and a nail now that comes out at the last joint of a chicken wing. Trust me, that was never there. I used to be poor. We used to have to eat every bit of everything that wasn't a bone, pretty much. That shit was not there. I guess probably if you just Google chicken wings.
Joe Cool says he bombed me already once, Sarah. You don't remember though, Mandela effect. Yes, everybody's already shown their peens on the screen. I just don't remember it. Yeah, I don't know anything about a nail coming out. That's kind of I mean, but I don't eat. I like on a wing. Are you talking about the wing or the leg? Like
wing.
the.
I'll show you an example here. Chicken wings. Oh, a tab.
Yeah, maybe it was chopped off before. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe before it was.
There we go. Ooh, where'd it go? There. Do you see this image here?
That looks fancy. Oh, the way you were describing it as a nail, it sounded completely
There is a nail
different.
right here.
Yeah, it sounded different in my head.
But you see like the finger effect, right?
It's
Almost
fancy. Them are some fancy wings.
What's that? Someone order the fancy chicken wings?
Yeah, that's
No,
like
they're
the fancy chicken. Yeah,
Wait,
flat.
what
That's
is that supposed to be? What part?
This is a chicken wing, and there's like this other finger here. Now, maybe there's some GMO stuff going on. I don't know. This has been
That's
a difficult one to try to confirm, like in the past, right? Like to try to find old images of raw chicken wings isn't an easy thing to do. But yeah, that's strange to me. Again, like for that reason, maybe these are genetically modified nowadays, and they just never told us, right? And there's weird shit happening. So,
Or maybe they're just not cutting them off anymore.
no, they were never cut off. You would have skin missing. You'd have a hole in the skin, right?
I don't know. I always feel like that was like the nub of the wing, right? Because I don't remember if I got wings, like the flats, I don't remember that extra tip to begin with. I only remember from like that thick part to the right. Like that would be a wing. I don't know anything about
same
anything
here.
to the left. That's what I'm saying. Those were just nubbed off because you wouldn't eat anything to the left.
Oh, the whole tip would be gone often, you're thinking?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So that's a chicken nail now? What is it?
Yeah, that's a chicken wing, just a typical chicken wing.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a nail. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the whole left side of that. Like, if I order wings, I'm just getting from that nail nub spot to the right. Like, but the nail that you're talking about, and then that extra little longer tip, like I've never seen that eating wings. But you might be buying them in original form per se, and then you would actually have to cut that off yourself. But if you go to a restaurant and you order wings, you're getting from that nub and then to the right.
Yeah, and like I said, when it comes to body changes and animal stuff, it's not my favorite category, and not really solid. I'm not a fan of it. When introducing people new to the Mandela effect, I'm not a fan of bringing up this stuff because it's not as solid, right? For whatever, many reasons, and there could be many excuses and whatnot, or other reasons perhaps, right?
Are there any other like wings, or not wings, animals? I'm like stuck on wings now. Are there any other animals that have like changed, or like in your perception
Many people used to say that they thought the narwhal was an extinct animal, but it's alive. And I didn't think so. The narwhal whale with the big tusk.
Narwhal.
To me, it wasn't, but I mean, I might have got updated on it.
Oh, I actually just watched a video about one of those the other day.
No doubt.
And how they like slowly stab to try to get the fish or whatever.
Yeah, or knock them out. They still say they don't know for sure what they're for, but the general claim is that
it was knocking it out, like it was hitting it. These are not mythical creatures. These are real things, right?
Yeah, they're real. They used to be, apparently some people said they used to be an extinct whale, but I was familiar with it, so yeah, I'm not sure. I just thought I'd throw that in there because there was many people that claimed that they were extinct, and but they weren't for me, not that I knew of.
Maybe because they were made as it's like to appear and be perceived as like mythical beings, because you have the unicorn, right? And the unicorn has a long thing on its head. So then like a narwhal has that same long random thing on its head. So it's kind of like rolls both ways. Like makes you believe that anything with that long thing pointing on, like, because it's kind of like, why have that? Why is that there? Doesn't make any sense. Just like you said, I don't know what they use them for or how or whatever. Like it doesn't make sense, right? Like I don't know. The reason why giraffes have long necks kind of makes sense because then they can reach the food on the higher trees. The reason why certain birds have like that bigger, like what is it, pelicans or whatever, that have that bigger neck is like so when they could scoop up the food and just let it sit there. So there's a lot of different things out there where it makes sense why they have weird features because it's like evolutionary, it would make sense. Whereas a narwhal, like this long like all you gotta do is open your mouth and go crunch. They just like go like for a whale or dolphin or bigger animal like that of any sort, all you got to do is like come in on a school of fish and open your mouth and boom, you got food. Like why are you playing with your food with a long stick thing on your head? Like why do you have to knock it out first? So, or maybe they just like to play with their food.
Yeah. The only other two categories right off that I kind of separated is history in general. Some history things that seem odd, and that can be tricky because it's like, well, maybe someone just didn't know that, right? Obviously, it's history. Did you learn it or not? The other one is population. Like growing up when you were whatever, let's say 15 to 20 years ago, someone asked you, what's the population of the US? What would you have said?
No, I wouldn't have any idea.
Not one that you know.
Yeah.
For me, it was around 310 million.
Yeah. I'll tell you what happened to me, and this is like solid because it happened in the middle of the Mandela effect period. People started claiming about the population of the Earth. It used to be 9 billion, and it was like 7 at the time. And I'm like, well, I'm not really sure. I'm like, I know the national debt was like 19 early on with Obama, and that went up. Maybe people are mixing that up. And then I was like, okay, so what population numbers do I know? And I'm trying to think. I'm like, one thing I did know, because I'm Canadian, I knew the Canadian population was about approximately the same as New York City, and which was the same, approximately 1/10 of the total. And I looked it up at that time, and sure enough, the population of Canada was around the mid 35 million. The population of New York was around the mid 35 millions, and the population of the US was around the 350 million, actually over by a bit. Then it was like 3 weeks. I got a video on my channel. People can go watch. Got tons of evidence. Within like weeks later, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 weeks later, I looked up the population and it was 324 million. I damn near died. Like I couldn't even believe it. I was just flattened. Like what? So, and the population in New York was like way lower as well, which became, you know, you have to be able to consider there's a core in New York City, New York Metro, and even still, there was nothing that was 35 million. Like, what the hell? So, the population one was a weird thing to me. The only other one I could sort of get nailed down a little bit was the population of Mexico City and what some people knew of that. But that's one too. The populations, history. I get a question. What do you know about Alaska? How did America become the owners of Alaska? And
Didn't Russia originally have Alaska?
that is
Or
true. Yes, according to current
okay.
history, that is the current way. That's not what I knew as a Canadian. It was a Canadian land, and we sold it to America for the purpose that we couldn't defend it if Russia or Japan came up on it. So there's definitely lots of evidence for that as well. A fair bit.
Yeah, I've heard other people say that.
Yeah, that's one.
It's like a Canadian Mandela effect.
Yes, and I got a list of Canadian Mandela effects specifically if anyone's interested. A little bit more product and entertainment stuff, but there is a good handful that's specifically more Canadian orientated because of the products. It will also one of the things when I started going and analyzing all the Mandela effects, within a couple of months, was there was commonalities that came up. Like S's, an S would be gone or included. So it's whether something was singular or plural there was a lot of those changes for some reason, right? Another one was what was a thing, let's say, said in the present was now reworded to say it in the past. Like Houston, we have a problem became Houston, we had a problem. When Vanilla Ice says,
no, it's Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, well, for quite a while, maybe still, I don't even know. It was Houston, we had a problem, especially in the movie. It was that, and then I think that flip-flop back. I mean, it's not the greatest example. There was many things that went from present to past. So another example is Vanilla Ice's song "Ice Ice Baby," which I'm sure everybody has heard, right?
Ice Baby. What did they change it from to whatever?
Yeah, I wouldn't say they, but maybe, who knows? If something problem, yo, I'll solve it. Can you fill in sort of the blanks on that line or say that line? If you something problem, yo, I'll solve it. I'll just say it. So to me, and I actually almost worship this song. I idolized this song. I was in like grade 5 at the time or 6. It was, if you got a problem, yo, I'll solve it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I knew it as. If you got a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Pretty direct and straightforward. It's now, if there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Which hardly even makes any sense. Like, if there was a problem, Wouldn't it be like gone? Like, and it just sounds weak anyway.
Yeah, you're already in the past tense.
Yeah, so there's maybe that's how I should have worded it. There's a number of things that are worded in the past tense now, which is really odd. That was another commonality that was coming up. I wish I had some more specific examples here right off the top of my head. There probably is some within the list that would come up.
Well, can I ask you a serious question?
For sure.
Hey, Rum for Rage coming in with the Big 10. He says, about not a boot, you Canadian bacon-loving maple syrup drinking nuck. Canuck.
Canuck. You should have put moose riding in there or something.
And Yasar, your mic was kind of coming in a little brrr, like that. Canuck. Canuck.
Canuck. I'm not a Canuck.
Another commonality.
It's still.
Another commonality that came up was there was a bunch of angel or angels stuff coming up, which is really strange, and because it happened multiple times. So here's 3 songs involved in that.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yep. So that's the most well-known one, and then not just most well-known, but actually a lot of people are familiar with that and affects them a lot, which makes it a great one. So Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge. It's the city we live in, the city of
angels.
Correct. Was correct. No longer
Nope.
correct. Now it's just angel. There's no S. The S went away. Yeah, the city of Angel.
Yep. You can look up the lyrics too. It's gonna show no S.
Your voice sounds familiar there, Mandela Effect.
Hold on, because I remember
Reality Shifter.
Yeah, I was thinking from the very moment you said boo.
All Saints did a remake.
Chilling.
Under the Bridge. I remember All Saints did a remake of it.
I just want to keep trying to blow her mind here. She didn't even know about Sex in the City.
Yeah, I know. Sex in the City, like you just hitting the like a whole bunch of new ones. Like, and these are old ones too. These are like 8 years old.
That was an original for sure. Also, here's this will get better because these are more girly songs now. Sarah McLachlan, In the Arms of
the angel far away.
You just said before the word angel. What did you say?
The.
Okay, that's his current way. I knew it as many, and there's a ton of evidence, including titles of YouTubes with the song. It was In the Arms of an Angel, and it's now currently In the Arms of the Angel.
In the arms of the... No, it's the. I go with that one. I remember when that one came out. Like I'm popping on that one. That's the, because I was singing that one like it was my fucking job.
You should put that to the vote.
All right.
Do a vote on that one. I'd like to see if anyone else or whatever percentage.
Poll.
Which way do you guys originally know that song as, let's say?
Hey Noble, I got a new Akon one. You know that song? I wanna make right now. You know that one?
I wanna make love right now.
Yeah, you heard about that one, right?
No.
Yeah, he's never said love.
What the hell is he saying?
He says make up now. I wanna make up right now. Look it up.
That's simp behavior.
Yeah, I wrote an article about it on my web. I wrote an article about it on my website.
I think I heard the song and never clued in because there's something familiar about that, but I didn't actually know.
You even watched the music video too. He doesn't say love no more. He says up. I wanna make up right now.
Right. Yep. I think I did hear that and almost just got exposed, updated from it. Yeah, that's dumb. It is simping, and that's just it. There's many things that like, it's like, or is it because it's the way the world is now, or is it trying to be engineered to be more of a certain way? A simp being an example of that. Who knows? The other Angel one, a little bit lesser known song is the Black Crowes.
Oh, she talks to angels.
Okay, I was waiting to see how you ended that. You said that plurally,
Mhm.
correct? She talks to angels, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's singular now. She talks to angel.
That's retarded. That doesn't even make sense.
It's also a trip if you're Christian, because anyone in this whole world, if you say who is the angel, there is only one the angel in common in the world, and that is Saint, right? And so there's a lot of people that's freaking crazy. Whenever you get angels changed to angel, that's a trip. She talks to angel. Holy shit! You know, some people trip over that, but yeah, that one.
I just looked it up on Google. It has a plural S.
Really?
Yeah, she says she talks to angel. Yeah, it's got the S. They call her. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
the
all
title.
over it. No, the lyrics. I'm looking at it right now on Google. Oh.
You could have flip flopped on me one moment. Do you know there was a flip flop? Was the laughing cow happened this year? Oops, sorry. Oh, I'm gonna have to mute so I don't get you on the copyright. I got to hear. I get what's one sec.
Okay, you go listen to that. Certain company. Yeah, she'll tell you she's an orphan after you meet her family.
I got another one, Sarah. Have you ever heard the song called Monster by Eminem with Rihanna?
Is that the hold on, I know
This song is singular.
where he that's the
You go listen to it. He sings. She talks to angel. It's singular. The song.
I'm friends with the monster that's under my bed.
Yeah, that one. Now, do you know about this one, Noble?
No, I kind of know that song. It's a Rihanna song, isn't it?
Yeah. So the thing is, how do you remember the chorus ending? So she's like, I'm friends with the monster that's under my bed. Get along with the voices inside of my head. You trying to save me, stop holding your breath. And you think I'm crazy. Yeah, you think I'm crazy. Well, what did she say?
Life's not fair.
Okay, great. Perfect. She doesn't say, well, that's not fair no more. She says,
okay, yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, she's never said, well, that's not fair no more. She says, well, that's nothing. You can look up the lyrics.
That's nothing?
Yeah.
Weird.
Well,
Yep. You can look up the lyrics and also listen to the music video. She's literally saying nothing now. She's never said, that's not fair.
Gestural coming up with a big 5. It was always of an angel, Sarah. You're losing it. Wrongful Rage coming up with a big 10. Last week I was cussed out by a foreign deaf woman and didn't understand a word of it. They were deaf. I'm sorry, that's funny. That's so corny. I love it. Oh, they were deaf friends. Listen, I am the girl that loves the corny dad jokes, and if that's not one, I don't know how to tell you what one is. That is good, Wrong for Rage. You got me. You got me. That was good. All right, more lyrics. I'm loving the lyrics.
The lyrics, I love them too. People can argue them off a little bit, but I really like them. Some of them are much better than others, of course.
This is the definition of the Hook Will Bring You Back by Blues Travelers.
Say it again.
Tell me I'm wrong. This
I
is the
didn't hear you.
definition of The Hook Will Bring You Back by Blues Travelers.
Hold on, you're like mumbling out. Definition of the
Hook
The
by
Hook.
Blues Traveler.
Is that a song?
Blues Traveler. Yeah. It's the
Definition
whole
of the
song is about by Blues Travelers.
Definition of the Hook. Definition of the Hook by Blues Travelers. This is say the meaning of the hook. The song's meaning is
Oh,
that
the name of the song is Hook.
Everything you guys are talking
Blue
about.
Travelers.
John Popper is aware that the song will be popular. He's not pretending otherwise. Okay, what's your point to it? I'm confused.
Is something different there from the way you remember it, Guy?
No.
No. Oh, I don't know that song actually.
You lost me in the ether. What do you mean? Like what do you okay, The Hook by Blues Travelers. What is the point you're trying to make with that? Guy.
LOL.
All right, your audio is absolute crap. I'm gonna go ahead and take you down, and we'll try next show. Okay.
Here's one that changed from Here's one that changed sort of past or present tense to past tense. Oh, kind of. Yeah, kind of ish. So, and you may or may not know this song. This is Busta Rhymes. Put your hands where.
Ooh, wait, that sounds familiar. What's the name of the song?
Good question. Oh, that is the name of the song. Put your hands
shit.
where
So
my
the
eyes
can see. Put your eyes where your eyes can see. Then if you something like I forget the name
if you
of it.
really want to party with me.
Yeah, that song.
That's what it was, and there's still.
This is the one I was doing. When you dip, I dip, we dip. You put yours and I put mine.
It's if I knew it as put your hands where my eyes can see. It is currently put your hands where my eyes could see, which makes no fucking sense.
Put your hands where my eyes can see. Wait, what do you remember?
Can, and now it's could.
Oh, put your hands where my eyes can see. Oh man, that's a tough one.
It doesn't even make sense.
No.
Both of them make sense though, right? Where my eyes can see, where my eyes could see. Yeah, both of them technically make sense, but like.
Are your eyes no longer seeing?
Put your
I
eyes
know
where my eyes can see.
it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Put your
It makes less sense now.
Wait, put your
And
hands
that's
where my
common
eyes
with
can
Mandela
see.
effect changes. Actually, is dumb changes. There's many things that are dumb. The Converse sneakers, Chuck
Interesting.
Taylors. You remember those? The canvas Converse sneakers that are Chuck Taylors.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when I had a pair growing up, I really liked those too because you could be like
had
poor and
quite a
still kind of
few.
popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, growing up, the logo was on the outside of your legs, not the inside. Now the logo is the round circle is on the inside of your ankles and always has been.
Why would they put it on the inside?
I don't know. No sneaker does that. No sneaker does that.
I heard about this. Wait, are you saying I didn't really look into it though. Are you saying the logo is inside, like the inside of the shoe?
Inside your ankles, yes.
So what's on the outside now?
Nothing. It's blank.
No
the inside used to be.
way.
Yes, way. It's backwards. Again, there's many changes that seem to be sort of inside
Look
out,
it up.
upside down, and backwards, which some people would relate to Satan's world, but it's a dumb change. Another example of a dumb change. Now I'm Canadian, so I didn't know this, but many people have pointed it out, and it seems most likely the case. Yeah, about Sarah Lee had a line.
Nobody does it like Sarah Lee.
Very good, you know it. Well, guess what?
Well,
it is now?
my
You
friends
just
used
said
to
it.
say it to me all the time. Well, they used to say nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee, but it came from nobody does it like Sarah Lee.
So what's the deal? Yes, you've already nailed it. The two ways. Why is there two ways?
nobody does it. Nobody makes a cake or pie like Sara Lee, but nobody doesn't like it. How could you not like it, right? So nobody doesn't like it. There's nobody out there that doesn't like Sara Lee.
Which way do you know as the reality?
The original was nobody does it like Sara Lee, but my friends, because they were being funny, said nobody doesn't like Sara Lee.
Well, you know what? The second one you just said is current and is history. Nobody doesn't like Sara Lee. That is what it is right now.
They had to have changed their marketing because it sounded similar and makes sense.
That sounds dumb as nobody doesn't like Sara Lee, especially if you already had it.
Well, that's just like I can't believe it's not butter, right? Like it's the same, like the negative with the positive.
Very
like
interesting that you knew both of those. Very, very interesting.
Well, I only because it includes the name Sarah, and it was like a big thing with my friends.
Oh,
you
of
know?
course, yes, your name's there.
They took the nobody does it like Sara Lee, and they spun it into nobody doesn't like, because everybody liked me. Nobody doesn't like Sara Lee. Yeah. I heard Sara Lee all the fucking time. It got on my fucking nerves. That bitch and her pies. She could shut her pie hole. Wrongful Rage coming with the Big 10. I'm interested what happens when it gets weird. Does Grumple do awkward speed date with Flo again? All about nail guns. Oh my. You know what? If we can get Grumple Stiltskin and Flo to do another speed date up here tonight, my night will be completed. I will shut down and go to bed, and we'll call it a day. So everybody go get Grumple Stillskin and go get Flow State and tell them you're being paged to the front, sir. And Trib One coming with the big 2. Hold me closer, Tony Danza. Count that lines on the highway.
Reality Shifter. Well, your old name.
I actually loved the Tiny Dancer. Like that's probably because I danced from age 5 up until an adult. Like I was a professional dancer in, so my life with ballet shoes was very important. So when I remember the first time hearing Tiny Dancer, and I was like, oh my God, this is my song. He made this for me, when he really didn't, but I'm going to believe he did.
Nice.
Just Googled it, but it's not Luke, I am your father. Wait, what is it? Is it something different?
What were you going to say, Noble?
It says, no, I am your father now. Luke is not there. It's just no.
No, Luke. No, no, Luke. It's just, I am your father.
It's just no, I am your father. Instead of Luke, I am your father.
You were going to say something before?
I was just wondering how you found the stream.
Oh, man. I'm always searching for Mandela effect. So I searched it, and I was like, oh, he's going to be on tonight. I'm like, I'm going to watch it.
Fun!
Yeah.
It's apparently no, I am your father.
This is a dude you definitely want to have when you want to discuss the
Luke
Mandela effect. I vouch for Noble for sure.
I mean, we all say, Luke, I am your father. Like, we all say this. This is a thing. It's a catchphrase.
Yeah, it used to be Luke for 100%.
Luke, I am your father.
He's never said Luke, though. Some people have always known it the way it is now, though. They were always known it to be no. So it's kind of like tough to like talk to them.
I want all of your like mixed lyrics now. Everybody send me your mixed lyrics like this.
I read that.
Hit me with your pet shark. Blow me away.
You read what?
Hit me with your pet shark. I read that earlier, actually, as a misheard lyric.
I want all of them. Send them to me. If I can figure it out, I'll sing it. All stupid and everything. These are good. Are there any more?
There's a Pink one I want to share. You know, that song, I'm coming, so I better get this party started. What did she say? I'm coming? What?
I'm coming out, so you better get
wait.
this party started.
What is the word? Coming what?
Out. I'm coming out.
Okay, great. I remember out too. She's never said out.
Oh, really?
Nuh-uh.
Yep. She's always said up. Just look it up. It's called Get Party Started Lyrics. Google it.
I'm wondering if the reverb on these songs is so strong that it actually twists the word around. Because you know when reverb comes back and it hits you back, so it's like it melts out the rest of the word, like the final.
But we all collectively remember something differently though, but it's never been that way.
They're here
that's
now
not
too.
reverbs.
What Say Lou heard up. She's got good ears apparently.
Yeah,
But
it
all
used
the
to
rest
be
of them-
out, but you can Google it right now. Get Party Started Pink lyrics. It's never said out. She's always said up, and you can actually watch the official music video. She's always said up. You're gonna see her say up. It's never been out.
Unacceptable. She's coming out of her closet.
Yeah, she's coming up now.
Everybody says up except for What Say Lou. What Say Lou says up. Everybody else says out.
Do you remember the beginning of the Men in Black song? It starts out with a beat.
Here comes the Men in Black.
Men in Black.
What does it say now?
Black. Come, here come the Men in Black.
I think she said it.
Won't let you remember.
You did say it as it is
Hey,
currently. I
like
think ME might have said it the old way I knew it. It's a very simple thing. So there, I
Here comes the Men in Black.
Exactly. There was an S
Galaxy
there.
Defense. Wait, what? Wait, so it's come now? Here
Right.
come the Men in Black.
Exactly. Yeah.
What?
Exactly. Yeah, it's not comes anymore, which was
Well,
quite clear
grammatically, it would be
Here
come.
come the Men in
to me.
Black.
I
Okay.
agree. Sure.
The less inclined on the grammatical sphere would probably say comes because that's stupid talk, but it's like we want to say comes, not come.
We're gonna get a lot of dirty comments.
Yeah, I know. They're coming in.
No doubt.
They're coming in.
The Men in Black.
That's what she said.
Another one
That's
is what his group is this? Who does No Scrubs? I'm not even going to go on about it much, but it's
No.
basically singular now.
TLC.
Yes, TLC.
No,
Sorry.
I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that
Wait.
I know.
But
You're doing it the newer way.
hold on. What
No, it's scrub. Scrub is
wait.
now there is scrubs later, but
Wait,
when
how does it
she
start off?
when she says
I could agree with
scrub,
that. Right, and I was thinking that might be the case.
No, I don't want no scrub. The scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging on the passenger side on our best friend's ride, trying to holler at me.
I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a
How
guy
is it now, Noble?
no love from me.
There's no S in it, and to me it had S's. Like
Wait,
maybe not the
which
whole
one?
song, but
Scrubs.
definitely.
Scrubs.
Oh, Scrubs.
Scrubs was in there, but it was like no
Scrubs.
Scrubs. No,
Yes.
no.
Excellent. And that's the one. That's the part I knew for sure.
No,
It's
no,
no
no,
lo- it's no longer.
baby.
It's no longer that way.
But when she says no, I don't want no scrub, that's singular.
Maybe. Well, like, it is right now singular.
No,
Maybe it was.
no.
Maybe it wasn't. But
Stop
right now,
being a scrub and being mad at
I don't
TLC,
think
okay?
there's one plural in that song now. It's all singular
Mm-hmm.
currently.
For me, I've always known scrub to be singular. I never heard plural.
It is singular in certain parts, most parts, but then there are a few plural.
We'll have to check into
No,
that
no.
at some point to
Wrong
see
for
because I don't
Rage
think there's
with the
any
Big
plural at
Pen.
all.
I haven't seen that much coming since my early 20s. I'm not complaining, just clean up. I knew it was coming. Wait, what? John Galt, how have you been, my love? It's been a
Oh,
while.
I can't complain. How are you? How are you today? How's
I'm
everyone?
lovely. I'm going to put you up top here. Are you in on the Mandela effect? Is it real or is it
What
not
do you
real?
think of the whole
I don't even know what the Mandela effect is. It's probably why I joined to figure it out. I thought it was Nelson Mandela. I probably thought you were talking about Nelson.
He's what's the is it, are they called NPCs? The
I've
ones
heard
that are
that.
just walking around non what is it, non-player
Characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's John. He's just he has no idea what's going on.
I have some great examples left, and I'm glad John's here. I don't mean to stereotype your background, but
No, that's fine.
I'll assume that you know a little bit more hip hop and whatnot than some people, or maybe.
Man, you know, I may have a little bit dated, but go right
Well,
ahead. Try me out.
John, you're in Baltimore too, right?
No, I'm in DC. There's
Oh,
a big
okay.
difference between DC and Baltimore.
Well, no, there is, and I'm north of Baltimore, and I wouldn't claim Baltimore, but I was trying to find a center point, but yes, cheers to us, Maryland DCers.
Yeah, there you go.
Whatever spot you're at.
There you go. Cheers.
All right, go ahead with your question, D.
Do you know Tupac's Thug Life drink? It was at the beginning of a song, and it was.
Oh yeah. It was like
one part something, one part something else.
One part Alizé, Cristal or something. I think was it Alizé or Cristal or something like that.
It is actually. You're right. That's currently what it is.
I
I found out about this because there was a dude with a very small channel, and he was pointed it out, a black dude, and that's the way. And the way he said it was the way I knew it. It was one part Hennessy, one part Alizé.
Yeah.
But now currently it's one part Alizé, one part Cristal.
Now, when you say currently, are you saying that the lyrics and stuff are changing? And like
that's what it appears as. Yes.
Really?
That is part of the Mandela effect.
It's not
what
just
you remember is no longer true.
Now, why do you call it the Mandela effect? What is that?
It was labeled as a Mandela effect because apparently the first one that sort of came to light on a relatively official basis is somebody remembered Mandela dying in like the 90s in prison, but then all of a sudden he was alive and just died recently, or more recently at that time, which was, I don't know, the 2013 or something.
Really?
Yeah, and people were like, they thought he died in prison in the 90s, but then it was almost like he was alive again and died again. So yeah, that's not one I can bet a lot on, but that's how the situation got its name.
Hold
I'm not a fan of it.
I left some brains down in Africa. I told you guys, if you send them, I'll sing them. As long as I recognize the song, I will sing that shit.
Great.
Here we are now in Wait. What song would that?
Salute to the panel.
Hi, Simon. What song would this be? Here we are now.
That's kind of confusing what he said about Mandela,
no.
but I mean,
Hold on. We're trying to figure this song out. Here we are now in containers. Here we are. What song goes? Here we are now.
I keep thinking in Africa.
I know.
Oh Lord, you just ruined it.
Like legit. That's some legit shit, man. It catches your brain and it's catchy.
He's right in Africa.
Here we are now. Hold on, let me try this. Here we are now. Lyrics. Smells like tea. Oh, Nirvana.
Yeah.
Oh.
Smells like Teen Spirit. That's what's gonna come up.
In containers.
Here we are now.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Why did I not know that?
Because that's linked intrinsically to our historic period.
Trig One comes in with a big 2 and says Tupac was Mandela effect. I feel like that's.
I'll leave that to you, sir.
Can you explain that to me again? Can you explain the Mandela effect to me again?
All right, I'm going to go tinkle. Nobleness D, explain the Mandela effect to the virgin of the panel. Thank you.
The way I explain it is the Mandela effect is essentially a situation in which people remember things differently than the way they currently are, and according to current history, it's always been that way. And they don't just remember it wrong, like everybody remembers it wrong the same way, right? So it seemingly has changed retroactively throughout history.
Okay.
So as it relates to Mandela, well, did he get out of prison? Did he not go to prison? What was he?
Now you're asking what the truth is.
The red pill.
Okay.
So it's basically small changes in reality that everyone's like noticing. So you might remember something existing or happening a certain way, but when you look at it now, it's never existed or happened the way you remember it.
Do you agree with him?
I'm sorry. Who you asking?
Well, I'm asking you, right? What?
But who do I agree with? Who? Like
The other person that was speaking the same speak
oh,
that you
for
were
sure,
talking about.
yeah. Why?
There's only like a few people up here. Like it's like one.
Okay, I
two.
just answered your question. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, come
What's
on,
your
let's
next
not
question?
be stupid, bro. Like,
Okay, so
'cause
what's your next question? I just said yes.
It's not a next question. I'm asking you what your answer is.
Okay, my answer is yes. Next.
You agree with him?
Yes, I just said yes
All
3
right.
times. Did you not hear it?
Do you? All right. Okay. Look, calm down, bro. I'm just saying, like
you
Hold on.
exaggerating for no
I've got
reason.
this one.
I said yes.
Hold on. I've got 2 chickens to paralyze. I've got 2 chickens to paralyze.
What song is
These
that?
are good. Animated effigy. Keep it going. I will do this all fucking night.
ME. Is that ME? Is that your name or some
Yeah.
shit like that?
You can call me whatever you want, but go ahead. What happened?
Right, just try to have a conversation. That's what I'm saying to you, because
I said yes, so I don't know why.
Yeah, I know,
like,
but what you
exaggerated.
did was no. I wasn't
Because
even
I didn't
No,
know.
no,
if
no.
you
You
I
see
didn't
what
know
you're
if you
doing?
was
You're
asking
doing
a
it
question
again.
to Noble or to me. Were you
Oh,
asking a
Lord.
question that I didn't
You're
know
acting
that?
like
So
a
I'm
heroin
who you
addict.
talking to? You
Look,
talking to me
stop,
or
bro.
Noble?
You see what's going on? Like I ain't even say anything to you.
What's
Right?
going on?
I was speaking to the other
Okay,
person.
I don't
on
even want to
cannabis.
argue about that, but
You-
go
wait,
ahead.
no,
Yeah, my answer is
no
yes.
one's
Now,
arguing. Calm down, bro. God damn. What's wrong with you?
It's all good.
Because
Let's
you
carry
still
on.
at it though. You still at it. What's your? I
Oh,
said yes.
Jesus.
So what were you? What was your
How
next
long
topic
has this
gonna
dude
be
been on
about?
your panel? I don't know. Like, look, god damn, like what?
It's all good.
How
Let's carry
do
on.
you
You guys
Listen,
remember
that's
the
what I'm saying.
Kanye
Carry
song?
on.
You are
Jesus
high
Walks?
strung, bro. You're very high strung. You need to calm
Yeah,
down.
I remember Jesus Walks for sure.
Here's one that came up for me. I was
Jesus,
listening to
what?
this in my vehicle all the time, and Kanye does that song "Jesus Walks," and the background singers would continually repeat "Jesus walks with me," right? But now there's no S. It's just Jesus walk. Jesus
What's that
walk
got to
with
do
me.
with anything? That's a chorus.
It has to do with the song and it not being the way.
Wait. Look, if you're gonna hire somebody,
Yeah, it was definitely Walks. It was not Walk.
Oh,
Now
come
the S
on.
is
Repeated
missing.
it
Sarah,
over
where
and
do you get
over.
these? Where do you get these dudes from? Look, goddamn. Look, wait a
Well,
minute. Look.
I found you, Simon, on the side of the road in a garbage can somewhere,
Exactly.
like
That's
getting
facts.
mauled at by a raccoon. But these fine gentlemen, I found on fun panels and very thoughtful thoughts and kindness, and they're not disrespectful, they're not assholes, and they're not intrusive and rude and all sorts of other bad things that you are.
Okay, I'll respect that.
Mhm.
I am you know whatever they want to call me when they find me on the side of the road. I get that. I get it. But
I
they
went
don't make
dumpster
sense.
diving when I found you.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, they still don't make sense. I still don't really
It don't make dollars. It don't make sense.
It ain't
Oh,
about
no.
dollars, dude. Like you don't know how many dollars people make. Like
I
you're just
need
saying
more
that shit.
song lyrics. That's what I want.
All right, I'm getting to some. I got another hip hop one here.
Oh my lord, this
how
sounds like a
about-
white John Cena.
I'm white as can be, Canadian as can be, loving it. Actually,
Literally, he says a boat.
a boat.
You
A
know
boat,
what
a
a
boat, a
white
boat.
John Cena looks like?
White?
Dr. Dre. I almost said Ice Cube.
A white
Dr.
John
Dre.
Cena. Yeah, white John Cena.
Was it keep your heads ringing or keep their heads ringing?
I don't even know the
He's
song.
really Canadian, right? Oh, okay. Jesus. All right, go ahead. Go.
I'll just
Go
throw
ahead.
that one by people because you may or may not know the song, but
I don't. I'm just being respectful because of Sarah. Because Sarah's gonna.
You're never respectful. What the fuck? Get out of here.
Sarah, don't do me like that. Come on.
I will
Jesus.
always do you like that because you're always a dick. End of story. All right, what was
Wow.
the song?
You see this shit?
well, it's actually a part of the title. So I knew the song as "Keep Your Heads Ringing," as if the DJ's talking to the audience. Keep your heads ringing, ring.
Who produced the
ring,
song?
dong. Ding, 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 Dre.
No,
Dre.
no,
Regardless of who produced it.
no,
The title of the song and the words of the song. And now,
no.
currently, it is.
This is why you don't pay attention,
Their
because
headline.
Dre has never produced anything.
No. All right. I'll go with that.
Literally, doesn't he, like, everybody that
Oh,
gets nominated and wins
he's-
awards are like,
he's not-
thank you, Dr. Dre. Pretty
He
sure
gets a-
Eminem made a whole song about this is a Dr. Dre production.
No, you see, this is the thing. What most people don't get, right? He didn't produce anything. He's in the studio. He's an executive producer. He's not a producer. That doesn't mean he lays hands on the board. Period. He gets people to produce that stuff, and they get credit. That what you don't see, but you never give credit to them.
Wrongful Rage coming in with the Big 10, and the drama begins as quickly as it ends. Popcorn. And Jess Gerald coming in with a Big 5. Keep their heads ringing. Ring ding dong. Ring a ding 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 dong.
Ring ding.
Dong.
Can I do that in a black version? Ring ding ding. Ring a ding 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 dong.
Here's one. Cats in the Cradle. Cats in the Cradle and the
In the
Silver
silver
Spoon.
spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon.
Interesting. You said it that way. So that is the current way. I knew it as Little Boy Blue and the Man in the Moon.
Yeah, the world guy.
In,
like
not
the
on.
world ain't that bad. Like we still got everything going for us. You know what I mean? Chill.
Check
God
out this
damn.
here screen share.
This ain't dystopia. Appreciate your
man
people.
on the moon.
Here's a
Exactly.
scene from what is this? The Office. This show.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's some
So
fuck
here-
good shit.
He just said in there, but better yet, I want to be careful with the copyright stuff, you know. Yeah, that's it right there.
Little boy blue and the man on the moon. Oh shit! You got a squirter over here.
Is that some sort of Rabina? I mean,
So yeah, it is currently Man on the Moon. I knew it as clearly. I listened to this quite a bit when Ugly Kid Joe did it.
I feel like in and on can be because and if you actually like, I think Alanis Morissette does this too, where you will have a chorus, right, and you sing it several times over, but then maybe one time you sing it slightly differently. And I think that then when you hear it differently, then now you apply that to all the other times. So Man on the Moon, Man in the Moon could have been done where he said Man on the Moon, Man in the Moon. And maybe at that one time he said in, then correlates to every other on, or vice versa. I feel like that does happen a lot, and it can happen like where they changed the chorus the last time. That last chorus, they always fucking a good artist will change it that last time, and then once, because the last round is the one that like sticks in your head, and then there you apply that to every prior chorus the next time you sing it.
Why do you think a good artist would do that?
Oh, that's
Why
a
would
really good point.
Tickle,
That's a
tickle,
really good
tickle,
point.
tickle. So it's like a plot twist. Every good plot twist has a change. It has a dynamic. It has something that throws you off, and you're like, "Damn it! Oh, like you got me. You got me." Right. So every good artist will change. And actually, this is very known in country songs. Country songs are very good. What is there? There's a song like you'll.
That's why I like Miley Cyrus.
What is it? Where it's like you'll remember this. Where he's basically every good country song tells a story, right? And there's a country song where he's like, you know, he's talking about like, oh, what the fuck is it? Basically saying you're gonna remember these moments with your kids. They're screaming at the top of their lungs. They're acting like assholes. They're doing all this. And it's like, you'll remember this. You'll remember this. Remember. And then in the very last chorus is like, poof, like you're going to remember. Like, it's different. It's like, it just changes the narrative. And you're like, you got me. You're right. You're right. That third chorus is always, it has to be the special one. It has to like wrap everything up in a bow and give you the moral of the story, right?
Totally
and that's like every good artist would know that and recognize that, because if you just repeat the same fucking shit again and again and again, it is what it is. But when you take the same words and maybe twist one just enough to where it changes the whole dynamic of the story, and you're like, it's like there's a poem where if you read it top to bottom, you're like, oh, this is a sad, horrible, terrible poem. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, and then when you get to the very bottom, it says, now read this bottom to top. And when you read it bottom to top, you're like, oh my God, the whole story changed.
That's it.
You know, it's the plot twist, because it's the one thing that you're not expecting.
Totally correct. Yeah. And on that point, I'm gonna go because I thought that as the January moment 2025. Yeah, don't talk over me, Sarah, please.
Don't come to my panel trying to make good points. You have none. We all accept that. You're just here because you want to be here. Correct? We love you, Simon. Bye.
I'll give you that. All right.
Short and sweet. All right.
Dido, white flag.
Emma's all over the internet. Now that makes sense about the music. I don't.
Yes, hold on. I won't go down with this ship. Will hold my hand. Wait.
I won't hold my hands up and surrender.
There
will be.
Oh, hold on. White flag above my door. Wait,
Continue.
Hold on.
There will be no white flag above my door. I want the last line. Or you're gonna look it up. That will kind
of because if I see the rest of it, it'll put the rest of the thing in my head. There will be no white flag above my door. I'm in love. No ways will be.
I know pretty much for fact that it was 'cause I'm in love and always will be. The 'cause disappeared. I have examples of people singing it that way.
That's another one I'll say. She probably said it in one, but not all. Right? So
I looked at every recording, every live version.
But did you listen to it, right?
Oh yeah, I was looking for it.
I'm in love.
I was researching it.
No ways.
Every one of these changes, I've extensively spent part of my life trying to find examples of the way I remember it.
That sounds a little psychotic. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
you got too much time on your hands.
No, I made time. I told you I walked away from life for years to figure out what was going on.
That's crazy.
I want to share one, Sarah.
Reality changing was pretty crazy.
Go ahead, John. What you got?
Have you ever seen the music video for "Oops, I Did It Again" by Britney Spears?
Oops, I did it again.
You know where she's wearing the like a red elastic dress, right? You know, can you like visualize it? Can you remember it?
Like a
she's like wearing a
outfit.
I don't remember it at all, actually.
You don't remember it? Well, I mean, damn it. So this is
song. No, it wasn't an elastic dress. It was elastic like
bodysuit.
Yeah, bodysuit.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I meant. So like, do you recall like her wearing a microphone?
Yeah, it was like a little black thing with the big
She even held it once.
Yeah.
Ring a bell.
Yeah. She just said yeah. She literally just said microphone. Well, guess what? You can watch that music video. She's never had a microphone. She's never had it.
They removed it. They fucking removed it. I'm telling you. That is her like stamp. Is that fucking microphone with the big fucking ball at the end.
Crazy.
It annoyed the shit out of me.
You said it without me saying
It annoyed the shit out of me. I was like, Why, with all of our technology, even in the late 90s, early 2000s, like you don't need that big ass thing coming out right in front of your mouth looking like a giant mole on your face.
Well, you're right.
You don't
She
need
didn't
it.
need it because it's gone.
But you know what's crazy though is that if you actually watch the music video though now, she doesn't have it, but like there's a certain part of the video where it looks like she's holding something, but it's not there. That's the crazy part. So it's
Yeah,
kind of like
she
the
always
microphone
grabs it.
Yeah,
She always
it's
grabs
like she's grabbing. Would you agree, Noble? She's like holding an invisible microphone now.
Yeah. It's as if the mic's there, but it's not.
Yeah, it's invisible.
Not there in the video.
It's not there.
No, I'm telling you, she always had it.
You can watch it though. It's not there.
That's a thing. That is a
agree.
thing.
It was a
She
thing.
still does that thing. It's her staple.
Yeah, she got unstapled. More ways than one.
Unstapled. They went in and AI'd that shit right on out. Wrongful Rage coming with the Big 10. John Galt looking at the young fella Simon. Boy, why didn't your daddy punish you more? This is a good question. Simon needs a good spanking or 2 or 10.
He might like that.
He doesn't need it from mommy. He needs it from a good daddy. That's the problem. He's too mummified.
I can't remember the artist right off. Maybe it was Midler woman. Is it Beth Midler or whatever? I don't know.
Bette Midler?
Fly higher than an eagle.
I can fly higher than an eagle.
Continue. You know.
'Cause you are the wind beneath my wings.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. There is no cuz. The cuz is gone. There's no cuz, Sarah. It's gone.
Probably in the movie
There's
Beaches.
no cuz.
In the movie Beaches, that's where I found that song.
We'll have to check it out to find that example.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, go to the movie, go watch the movie Beaches, because she did a whole big performance at the very end of the movie, and that was the song that she did, and
The word cuz was in there.
it was in there. I'm telling you, it was in
And
there.
if it isn't now, what are you gonna think?
Fuck you, I don't care.
I'm telling you, it isn't. I'll give you.
Did you watch Beaches?
I'll give you a $50 don't. Actually, you need a public email because I don't have credit cards. But anyway, I was going to say I'll give you a $50 dono if it's there, but it isn't there anyway. Clearly, I know the Mandela effect too good. There's no way that the original singer's singing it. Oh, I shouldn't say no way. There is a live version of one song. I found someone doing it. It's something original. But yeah, for the most part, if not entirely, the word cuz you are the wind is not there. It's just you are the wind beneath my wings.
No, I'm telling you, it's in the movie.
I would definitely love to see it. We should definitely check it out.
It may not be the original song, but it's definitely in the movie, because that was the only place I ever heard that song. It was from the movie Beaches. Okay. And it was a pretty big, it was a big hit when it came out.
Leonardo DiCaprio one? No, that's
no, that's The Beach. Beaches was it is it Demi Moore? Beaches.
A little bit
yes,
older.
I'm pretty sure it's Demi Moore, and then Bette Midler, of course.
I was never a fan of her, eh? Not at all.
Is it Demi?
I think she's privileged.
No. Barbara Hershey. I feel like Demi Moore replaced Barbara Hershey.
There's a fantastic song in the movie Top Gun by a band called Berlin, the female singer. Do you know that song? Something about breath away.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember the song.
Take my breath away.
Yes, that one. There's one in there too.
Oh yeah, she didn't just say it, but it was.
Breath away.
And I got to find the example. I can't because of copyright.
How is it now?
There's no you. It's just take my breath away. You take my breath.
There is no you. There was never you. No.
I can show you an example of Berlin doing it in China.
No.
I believe you, but for me,
take my breath away. It was literally
I've never experienced the you.
Called. Never had the you.
I can show you where it's in part of the live performance in China, and actually, all one has to do is type in "take my breath away" 1987. because it'll come right up, that example.
No,
It was a live
everybody's
performance in
saying
China.
no. There was no you.
Well,
No
you can
you.
see it here. And not only do you, she says it once, like talk instead of singing, she talks it once, and then later on in the song she sings it once.
It doesn't even
2 or
make
3 times in the song
sense.
in that version, she doesn't say it, but
No.
twice you can see her
No.
lips it, but it doesn't come out
Nope.
in the audio.
Out.
I gotta get out of here. Sarah, everyone, thank you for having me. See you
Did you
later.
do something about the Mandela effect?
Yeah, well, I did. I did learn it. You always learn something new. It's always good to learn something new.
Fair enough.
Hey,
Is there anything that you
wait.
think you remember, John, that you actually don't remember?
Probably a little bit of everything.
All right, John. We'll catch you later. Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Yeah, have a good night, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Stacy coming in with the big 2. You need to check out the different Mandela effect. What is the different Mandela effect?
She probably meant to write effects, different Mandela effects, like other categories, I guess.
Oh, other than music lyrics? Yeah, I definitely got a bunch of things written down here. We can do a couple more lyrics and definitely jump onto something else. Seal, Kiss from a Rose. You know that one, Sarah?
Kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, you know.
You got it.
Greater it feels, yeah.
That's no longer how it goes. It's now Kiss from a Rose on the Gray.
That doesn't even, that's retarded.
Well, go listen to it.
You're welcome,
Gray
Stacy.
now.
Kiss from the rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, stranger it feels, yeah.
And it
Now
literally
that
would show
your
a grave
rose
with
is
rose.
in bloom, light it's the gloom on the bay.
Right. That is now Kiss from a Rose on the Gray.
That's gay.
And the whole excuse behind it is something with the tower and the shadow side of the tower. It's like a gray area. The sun didn't get there. Like what? Yeah, there's all this excuse to it. But yeah.
Nah, I can't even buy that one.
What is the beginning of Bon Jovi's Dead or Alive? How does that start out? It's all the same. It's all the same. Only the names changed.
Yeah, hold on.
You know the beginning of that one? I'm trying not to say the key word there.
Things you know will change.
Right.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Many people knew that as It's All the Same, only the names have changed. And now it's all the same, only the names will change. So it went from have changed to will change.
I thought it was more like only the names will change.
Interesting.
Like you're it's just a lazy what we're getting into is like grammar versus lazy
Some
speaking.
of it definitely falls within. It's so close, like you just hear it a little bit one way or the other.
I have a personal one. I don't know if y'all gonna relate to it, and I hope y'all do. But who sings "Red, Red Wine"? Who sings that?
Red, red wine.
Who sings it?
It's like I know, but I can't come up with the answer right off.
Come back to.
Okay.
If you gave me a multiple choice, maybe I would know.
Well, I'll give you 2 choices. Is that okay?
I remember when it came out too. It was like 1999.
It's UB40 or Bob Marley.
It's not Bob Marley.
That's crazy.
No, I know it's not Bob Marley.
Yeah, I didn't know it is a Bob Marley song either. But I actually not.
I experienced it as a Bob Marley song, and what's crazy though is like if you actually Google images and stuff, you'll see like people labeling it a Bob Marley song, and on YouTube too. So that's reality residue.
That's just stupid people.
It's a phenomenon where it's tough to explain. We're all experiencing different things. So it's the Mandela effect is proving that we're not seeing the same things. This is why, like, you know,
it gets complicated.
Yeah, it gets very complicated. It's kind of like, you know, This can
Admittedly, though, sometimes people do make mistakes. I'm not saying this is one, but
Yeah,
that's
no,
why
for
it is
sure.
complicated, you know?
Yeah, it is complicated to explain.
Here's one I think you might love if you know this one, Sarah. This is just for you. Mary Poppins. Have you watched that? Did you watch it as a kid?
Yeah.
Spoonful of
Full of sugar helps the medicine go down.
Well, I didn't get you on that one.
Medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
It's so
in the
wrong to
most
me when you say it.
delightful way.
That's most certainly not the way I learned it, and I literally learned this song as a child. It was just a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. It was makes.
Helps.
Yeah, well, that is the difference.
Helps. It
That is the
helps.
difference, that one.
Helps the medicine go down.
Oh, Noble, tell her the one with the lamb chop. This is the song, you know that.
That's how I'm on the show.
That's how we had this whole
Because
conversation.
she was doing a
way.
live. Yeah, she
For
was
real?
doing a live, and she sung it the old way.
Oh
This
shit.
He was
is a
actually kind
song
of
that never ends.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on, my friend.
Nope, don't go like that no more.
Yeah, that's weird because he said that too, and I was like, no, that's weird. People are weird.
Now, currently, it's the song that doesn't end, which sounds fucking
That's
horrible.
weird. That doesn't even.
And what kills me is when people, they're like, yeah, that's the way it always was. It kills me. And I'm like, didn't you repeat that like 100 times when you were a kid? Like, how can you get that wrong?
Literally, like that's the whole point of the fucking song because it never fucking ends.
Right.
It doesn't end. It never ends, and that's why we can continue singing the song that never ends.
Here, I'll give you a little example of, or an idea. Here, like, sometimes I think in some cases there's meaning or there's reasons why it changed. Not to say that there's intent behind it, but perhaps some truth in some manner or another in reality. I think possibly in that case that it's the song that never ends. It isn't that it never ends. It's that it doesn't because man wrote it that way. It will end. Everything will end, right? Nothing has a never. There is no such thing as never.
Rabbit hole, gay.
What?
Rabbit hole gay?
Rabbit hole, that's gay. It never fucking ends. When the world explodes, that song will continue on in my little particles of my brain forever.
How about Sally? There's a big one. Some people are pretty floored on. What's the name of the movie? Their reality or Emmy? I want to keep calling you reality shifter. Dolly or Sally? No, Dolly. Why did I write Sally here? It's Dolly, obviously. Dolly in Moonraker movie. Yes, thank you. Dolly in the Moonraker movie. She was the sort of nerdy looking girl there that fell in love with Jaws, the man with the big metal teeth.
Okay, we're not doing music no more.
I don't even know that movie.
Not necessarily. No? Oh. Well, anyway, in that movie, there's a scene which was her main scene, whereas this little kind of nerdy girl, small and weak, looks at this big giant monster looking guy, and she smiles, and she has braces, and I can't even remember who smiled first. And then he smiles, he has these big metal teeth, and they fall in love because they had this connection. They both had, like, one had braces and one had metal teeth. Well, now Dolly never had braces, ever. It's not, like, they're gone.
That's a huge Mandela effect. It's well known. It's popular.
Yeah, it is a huge, like, really gets a lot of people. Like, it does, the whole scene doesn't even make sense anymore. Like, why doesn't Dolly have braces?
No, Corey, I'm sorry. You could watch the movie now. You're not going to see the braces. It's gone. She's never had braces.
She never had braces.
One that hit me.
Guys, I think she had braces. Makes me feel better if she had braces.
For it. At the time, me and the girlfriend I was with had watched the first season of a Walking Dead spinoff, and then the second season come along, and I said, "Oh, Fear of the Walking Dead is on." She's like, "No, it's Fear the Walking Dead." I'm like, "No, it's Fear of the Walking Dead," but it is currently just Fear the Walking Dead. I knew it quite clearly, quite obviously, as Fear of the Walking Dead. So that
I feel like you just make arguments with your girlfriend just to make arguments with your girlfriend.
No, that was just how I happened to find
Let's
out
break
about it
this
before I
down.
even knew about the Mandela effect that had happened. That's why I worded it that way.
I only know The Walking Dead. I don't know any of like I watched maybe the first 2 or 3 seasons of Walking Dead, and then I was like it got gay after that. So I don't know of any of the spin-offs, so I cannot answer to that. But it sounds like you just like making arguments with your girlfriend.
No, I don't argue with girls. And actually it kind of pisses them
You're
off.
arguing with me now.
I'm not. Oh, I'm disagreeing. I'm not arguing.
What is this?
I get some images. I'll run through it quick and throw a couple things at you. Just to get through some quickly and a little visual to go hand in hand with it. Hopefully, if I hit any music or audio, I'll pause it right away because we don't want that to happen. FYI, what is it? Walk of Fame? How's that go? The Walk of Fame. There's more to that wording. Is something Walk of Fame? I'm drawing a little bit of a blank. Anyway, in Hollywood, the Hollywood Walk of Fame, that's what it's called.
I don't know.
All the stars are pink. I'm pretty sure that they used to be gold. Many people remember them as gold, but all the stars on the road in the walkway are pink, which is pretty freaking odd. Curious George.
Well, for the stars though, that could be like a light differential because like I can tell there's a little pink in there, but it also has like a gold color to it because the way the light hits it. So it would make sense to actually do a pink color if it refracts the light a certain way in a different direction as you're walking down.
That's some great logic.
Mm-hmm.
I think it works.
It does.
Curious George is a popular Mandela.
Always had a tail. He always had a fucking tail.
I agree. This is a picture from a part of the back of a 45, a record I used to listen to as a child. I literally went to my parents' house and dug this out, and I didn't know this ahead of time. I looked at this because I was actually drawn, although I instinctively knew, of course, he had a tail, I was drawn a bit of a blank trying to come up with a visual. And I pulled this out. This picture was on the back of the 45 pamphlet. So as I used to listen to the record as a child, I would look at the pictures. This was like one of 4 pictures on the back of the little pamphlet or the sleeve for the 45. In this story, it goes on that George is so good at window washing because he had 4 hands. And I remember thinking as a child, I'm like, no, he has 5. He has 5. Not that he has 5 hands, but he had 5 essentially ways to do the cleaning. Because the bucket was being held by his goddamn tail, not whatever this contraption is. So
Yeah,
that's when I knew legit, like, no, for sure he had a tail. Like I have a connecting memory to it, right? And that's how I confirmed for myself, like, yeah, he definitely had.
Well, and it wouldn't even make sense. Why would they draw a monkey without a fucking tail?
No doubt. You wouldn't believe how many people were arguing that he wasn't a monkey. I had to prove he was a monkey.
I mean,
Like, he was a chimp.
You do know there are monkeys that exist with no tails, right?
Not right off, no.
Yeah, the ones in Gibraltar.
Really? They don't have tails?
Yeah, they don't have tails, and then the ones, the same ones in Northern Africa, they're called the Barbary macaques.
What about your cock?
Macaques.
Stop talking about your dick.
I'll talk about it all I want.
This is a dumb little logo one, but there is typically and commonly a line now between the V and the W, and people say there never was a line. So this is kind of either residue, or maybe we just can't see the line because the photo's kind of shitty. But yeah, there's currently a line between the V and the W, and people don't remember that ever being there, and it's always there on all of them now. I don't want to get into Andorra, but it's a country between France and Spain, a little country as a geography person, and MandelaEffect.net here beside me, who's actually a reality shifter in his previous YouTube years. Again, a big geography guy. He never knew about it. Actually, I'll mention, since you're here, reality shifter, MandelaEffect.net beside us. He was doing videos before I was, a little bit before, and you did my favorite video ever when you brought up Canberra. and you were like, I never heard of this fucking city in my fucking life.
Yeah,
I'm like, I know, what the
I was
fuck?
bugging out. I'm
No
like
wonder.
Canberra. I didn't even pronounce it right at the time because I was like, I never heard of this city. So I
none
was
of us even
saying
knew how to say it.
Canberra. I'm like, Canberra? I never heard of this being the capital of Australia in my life.
Fuck no. I knew, because it's a big country and it's of course like a cousin to Canada. I knew all the big cities. I knew Melbourne, Sydney, Perth. I'm drawing a little bit more blanks right now. What's the other one? There's a big one I'm missing. But anyway, I knew all the big cities, but I didn't know the capital. But yeah, that was the capital, and you made that great video that made me laugh a lot, which was really good because I had got almost, I don't know, depressed, but something very negative because the population of the U.S. just dropped like 30-40 mil on me out of nowhere in a couple weeks, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And it was kind of like depressing, shocking and depressing. But yeah, that was a great video. I really appreciated that at the time, and I was with you. I'm like, I never heard of this fucking city in my fucking life. What the fuck? Yeah. What's the island that the Statue of Liberty's on? Do you know, Sarah? Or anybody in chat?
Ellis Island.
Wow,
Ellis
that's crazy.
Island. Answer from the
Crazy.
host. Well, I'll have to.
For me, it's always been Liberty Island because I'm from New York. So
Really? You didn't see that one, eh? Interesting.
nah, yeah, but I'm
You'd almost have to admit on that, though.
I've heard of this one though. A lot of people remember it being on Ellis Island.
A lot.
She said
Yeah.
Ellis Island, so
But
it's
it's
kinda weird.
it's on Liberty Island, which I had never even heard of. Right?
Which is
I'm
funny
Canadian.
because I actually did the tour. But I just remember going there and then everything was like Ellis.
Right. And so this is sort of like an indirect kind of residue-ish thing, whereas this is the Cabbage Pail Kids, and
Cabbage Patch Kids?
Well, it was a spin-off concept from the Cabbage Patch Kids.
Oh.
And the card is the Alice Island. Obviously, they were referring to Ellis Island, but changed it a little, right? Not Liberty. So that's sort of like a little bit of indirect residue-ish concept. Oh, there's another pink freaking star. Don't need to see that. This is a Tens adult diapers, and what this is. Years ago, there was two brands out competing. One was this brand, and what was the other brand? You know, what's the other brand, which is still in existence today?
Well, yeah, I know this one. It used to be called Depends, but now it's Depend. It never had an S.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was never Depends. Well, according to current history, it was never Depends. It was always Depend.
Really?
Yeah, really. Some people actually, that's a pretty solid one for some people. I remember who's Lift the Veil buddy, Nathan. That was his one in stone. He's like, no way, I wore those things when I was quitting drugs. It was
I don't
Depends.
remember him.
Let's see what else we got here. Oh, this is an image from like.
Well, hold up though. Hold up. You're
I'm
saying
concerned.
depends. Oops.
What's
You're
never
saying depends is
Depend.
you're saying it shouldn't have been plural?
No.
Well,
it
but that
was,
makes
and
sense.
It's singular now.
Yeah, but it makes it's always been depends, right?
No.
It used to
saying
be. It doesn't
Depend.
exist as Depends now. Now there's no S. It's always been Depend now.
Yeah, but when you would refer to something, you'd call it my.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But
In,
no,
in language, you could put it that way, but what was on the package?
yeah, but
was
physically seeing it, people will remember the S. Now it's never been there, even though they remember
Well,
seeing
that would actually make sense then.
Yeah.
We
And-
grammatically want to.
And the same as this company did. They labeled it as a plural thing. Well, Depends was the same, but
It's kind of like Cheez-Its. Remember Cheez-Its? Yeah, it's never been Cheez-Its. It's always been Cheez-It.
Doesn't it have the Z at the end?
No, it's never had the
No.
Z.
I'm glad you
It's
said
never-
Z, because I was
it's
never
never-
100% sure if it was an S or a Z, but it was definitely pluralized.
I definitely remember the Z at the end, but it's never
Yeah.
been there.
Wow.
This is an image that came out, was thrown in a music video that CERN did. CERN being the particle collider. And I don't know if they were like trying to trigger us or what they're doing, or if this is sort of proof that they were involved with the Mandela effect.
I remember this. This was in 2016.
Oh yeah, it goes back.
Yeah.
So this was a still shot that came out of their music video, CERN's music video, and it has Bond #1, and then below it has Mandela. Well, Bond, the person who played the first Bond movie, was a Nelson guy. Is that how that goes? So it would be as if he's saying Nelson Mandela, and that's "We Are Happy." They're doing the happy song. I'm so happy. Anyway, and so people started thinking that they were sort of responsible, that CERN and the particle collider was like behind the Mandela effect or involved in the Mandela effect. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they're just pulling our leg. Maybe they're just a psyop. Who knows? But this is a very famous image as to why were they bringing up Nelson Mandela in reference, in connection to CERN, and because this is actually an office at CERN. So yeah, weird, and it was in their music video. So I just wanted to include that. This is a very sort of famous and important, possibly important image that is referenced to. Oh, here's Britney wannabe outfit.
I wanted to mention this one earlier with the Britney Spears microphone.
So in her original,
Oops, I did it again.
No, Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Oh wait, yeah.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
In her music video, not like this is all multicolored plaid, but she had on a skirt, and many people remember it as being a plaid-like or striped look, and now it's just plain black.
Yeah, it's always been all black now, but I remember the plaid for sure.
Yeah, it does look kind of odd.
The flannel design.
I'm not going to get into this at all because this is just Alberta, like a province of Canada. But this is what the old arms look like, and now where all the dots are is all water and a couple little island things, like maybe it's marsh. But anyway, it looks like marsh turned in. I'm not going to carry on because nobody would know that. This is Residue. I can fly higher than an eagle because you are the wind beneath my wings. So this is in like a, this is on a YouTube. You could look this up. So this is set up almost like a karaoke, or at least a lyrics for the song. But the word "cuz" is not sung during the song, but there it is on the screen as the song goes by. Another example, somebody else singing, doing a karaoke. There's the word "cuz," but she doesn't sing it. But there it is on the screen behind her. Do you remember Coke Zero?
I do. It's never been Coke Zero.
It's always been Coca-Cola Zero now.
Yep.
There's a crazy story behind this for me personally, because, and again, before I even knew about the Mandela effect, there was one of the bosses that would come into work in the morning, and he would always go for a jog, and sometimes he's a little late, but he would always get a Coke Zero at the end of his jog and come back, and sometimes he's still drinking it. This one day he comes in with it, he holds it up, he looks at it, he's like, they changed it. He's like, Coca-Cola Zero. He's like, it's funny because I went in the store and it was like I was only in there a couple of days ago, and they had all kinds of Coke Zero, and now it's all this one. As if he's assuming they changed, they pulled out all the old ones and put in the new ones. He opens it up, chugs it down, he's like, tastes the same. Yeah, well, it turns out that's a Mandela effect. Has never been a Coke Zero. Somebody drew this.
I remember that.
What it looked like, and it's always been Coca-Cola Zero now. This is the dude that was on American Idol, and this was his song on American Idol, Daughtry and Home. And I ran into this one myself. Actually, many of these I did. There's a really interesting video where the American Idol did almost like a big commercial thing or a big video for this song, and they're like interviewing people and talking to them, and the whole thing's about, I'm coming home. Everything is about coming home. Well, guess what? And that's how I knew the song, as if he was talking to, like his girl on the phone. I'm coming home. That's not the song. The song is now and always has been, I'm going home. And when I hear it, it sounds so wrong to me. But that's another music lyric. Anybody who may or may not know this is not one I would bet any huge money on, but like, that's strange. So apparently DEF CON, this is from
DEF CON 3. We're going into DEF CON 3.
Yeah, and this is from the movie DEFCON War Games, or the movie's War Games, perhaps. So in the movie and everything in culture, I always knew and ever heard there's DEFCON, when you reach DEFCON 5, like that's nuclear freaking war, right? Prior to that might be biological or something, whatever, a biological attack. Well, this is wrong. This is an image from the movie. DEFCON 5 is actually the lowest. The real scale in real life is actually 1 is at the top. DEFCON 1 is nuclear war. And
Well, it's a countdown. Look at it as a countdown then.
yeah. So I don't know if culture, like entertainment and culture, had always done it backwards because it sounded cooler to have DEFCON 5. Like there's a video DEFCON video game.
But the thing is always DEFCON 3, which means we're right there in the center. But in this instance, I would look at this as a countdown, not a count up.
Well, there's video games called DEFCON 5 still, and that's about nuclear war. So definitely in culture, they still sort of refer to DEFCON 5 as the worst, but in the real military world, it's not. I don't know if this is a Mandela effect, or if it is. Like, did Mandela effect get inverted in the real?
If there's a game called DEFCON 5, right? Then they didn't do their homework when they made it. It's not possible that they didn't do their homework, or they just presumed, or they're just saying DEFCON 5 is just like, hey, we're just like going in at it, and it's not going to be that bad.
Yeah, like it's a big number, so
any
it's worse.
DEFCON is going to be bad anyways, right? So if DEFCON 1 means like there are nuclear warheads coming, we're all going to die in like a matter of 5 minutes. So if you're making a game around DEFCON 5, that means like we're going to war, boys. Strap up.
The difference is more than that. One would basically be peace. So the low level would be there's no war and it's just peace. And then the next DEFCON up would be regular bombs. The next DEFCON would be biological or something agents. So there's actually real definitions for each one. The highest or worst DEFCON is nuclear.
Right.
So yeah, like I said, I don't know if it's a Mandela effect or if pop culture always did everything inverted because a bigger number sounds worse. I don't know, but I thought I'd point that out. This is
Gesterog coming with the big 5. He says, keep going, but only if 5 of these fuckers subscribe so we can hit 4K. And as an update, ladies and gentlemen, I only need 2 more subscribers and we will officially hit 4K. Just saying. I know y'all have alt accounts. I know y'all be hiding. I know you're watching from the clouds. Just hit the fucking button and make me a happy girl for the next 10 minutes so it can officially say 4K, and then you can remove it tomorrow. Okay? That's fine. Thank you, Jess.
How do you know the song? And I'm hoping you didn't just see the last image. How do you know the song? Take me home,
country road to the place I belong, West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home, country road.
Looks like she remembers it the way it is now.
Yeah, that's the current way. So you just said it's singular or plural. Which way did you just say?
She said it
Take
singular.
me home,
she said road.
country road to the place.
And I have a way of keeping it straight in my mind, how I knew it because of how I used to think about it when I sung it. As I knew it as singular as well. And what I used to think is that and I've lived way out in the country, and some people live so far out in the country that basically that secondary highway is practically an extension of their driveway because nobody else lives up there, right? And that's the way I used to look at it. Like, you practically own the road, right? It's your road. Only you or a neighbor or two lives up there. And so it was country road, take me home, as you just sung it. That's not the way the song currently is, or never has been anymore, apparently. It's country roads, plural.
You hit 4K.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for all of your weird ass alt accounts and strangeness. We are officially at 4,002. I knew there was a reason to buy Prosecco tonight. I knew this weird ass Mandela effect would bring at least a few of you in.
It did.
We are there, folks. I'm super excited. We did it. And I say we. It's not me. We did it. Thanks to you. Thanks to subscribers. Thanks to viewers. Thanks to panelists. Thanks to features. Thanks to guests. Thanks to all of fucking you. We're here. Now I'm drunk. Keep going.
This here 8-track set came from my grandmother's. On the 8 tracks itself, it says Country Roads. Take me home, Country Roads.
How do I know that's really your grandmother's set and you
I
didn't
still have
just
it. No, I have
Google
it.
that?
Well, I can make different pictures of it if you like. You can pick how you want me to stack them, or throw a dollar bill or a loony with it, and whatever you want. I can do it because I own these. They're here. This is an 8-track set of 4. And on the 8-track itself, it says "Take Me Home, Country Roads," plural, as it is, as the song goes right now, not the way I remember it. But if you look at the cover of the box, what does it say?
Country Road.
Country Road. On the inside, it says plural, and on the outside, it says singular. Riddle me that shit.
Well, so I told you about lyrics earlier about how you can like say it one way throughout most of the song and then at the very end say one differently. So he could have been saying Country Road for the first 3 verses or 3 choruses, and then the very last one say roads, or vice versa, or whatever. Right. But you could, and it's natural. Like, you know, I love karaoke and I do it a lot, and I fuck up the words all the time, or I like add a little S here and there, or do whatever I want. I think it's very natural to do those things. But we're celebrating the 4K. Jester Raw coming to the big 20. He says, "Good work, Sarah. Here's to 10K." Oh my God, that seems so far off, guys.
Oh, you'll get there.
I don't even know how I can think. Like,
This is your 1 year? You'll get there before 1 year.
This is our 1 year, and I'm so excited. Well, I think Social Blade had me there pretty soon, actually. Where was it? I just looked this up today, actually. Social Blade. Hold on, let me do it. Because Social Blade has been not necessarily on the nose, but ahead of the game. And it's been pretty solid on it. We will hit 10K according to Social Blade in less than 6 months. So by Mother's Day, we should be hitting 10K.
Yeah, I figured if you reach 4 in a year, you'll definitely reach 10 in 2 years.
Really? Is that is this fast?
It's escalating. Yeah, it's not linear. The more there is, the more you get.
Right, exponentially.
Correct. Thanks.
Right, it moves. The math person, yeah. Yeah, it moves. No, I understand the concept of exponentially, right? So you gain 2 subscribers, you're moving, right? And then from that 2, you get 4. From the 4, you get 16. From the 16, and it keeps going. So you just start to move exponentially, which makes a whole lot of fucking sense.
Yeah, as long as YouTube don't get a hate on for you.
Right. So we have to keep it clean, keep it good, and keep it moving. Like, I feel like the pace is good. Like, it's faster than I expected, or like, I feel like everything is happening faster than I expected. When I first made this, it was just something fun to do on a Thursday night. And then Thursday night turned into Saturday night sip and stream. Saturday night sip and stream turned into Moderator Monday. Moderator Monday is really big. That's like our golden nugget. And then we got the Sleepy Tomato in there on Sundays and all sorts of different things. And it's just like, I don't know. It just like it's like more than I expected. I just thought this was going to be a fun 1 night a week kind of thing. And then it just kind of grew. Wrongful Rage coming to the Big 10, kind of like Code Orange, Code Red, and Code Green. What are those?
I don't No, for sure. He's probably referring to the DEF CON, perhaps.
Maybe.
Code
Oh,
Red. There's
go
Code
back.
Red.
Go back to the picture because the picture had the colors in it, didn't it?
That's true. Yeah.
There you go. Code orange. I'm guessing that could be a 2. Code. Well, no, because 2 could be red too. See, his Mandela effect is kicking in, and he thought there was a red or an orange in between there because there was a yellow and a red. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
There is no code orange.
Oh man.
And Resla, really? Congrats on the 1 year. Yeah, 1 year for live streaming. I'm really excited. The official date is the 23rd, but I got so excited. I got so fucking excited. I was making the video for the 1 year, and I just was like, God, the sentiments are coming to me. It's so sweet. Has it been this long? And realistically speaking, like I started setting up my gear and like in December and getting the ball rolling before January 23rd. But January 23rd is the official night we went live. But we're going to just celebrate the whole fucking month. Why not? Hi, Dad. My dad's in the chat, by the way. Everybody say hi, Grumpy Tomato.
Hi, Dad, Grumpy Potato. Tomato.
Potato!
Shit.
What did you say?
He said potato.
Grumpy Potato.
Is that the Mandela effect?
I think
Is
Grumpy
that the
just goes with
Mandela effect
potato.
that the raging tomato is essentially the angry potato? That's the Mandela effect.
Yeah, I think you did that thing where you set people up to say a certain word, and you said
I
you
just
said
said
grumpy,
hi,
and I
Dad.
said potato.
The grumpy tomato.
Caught the update.
Oh, that's funny. Hi, Dad. We love you. You're up late. All right, next where were we? Country Road.
Do you
We're moving on.
know? I'm going to go
Yeah.
to the next one here, but before I show it, when Mandela stuff was going on, and I'm looking into sort of the past, taking a look at things that I somewhat knew, I knew the DuckTales theme intro and theme song really well.
DuckTales, woo!
Right? Actually, it's quite famous. So I went through the lyrics of that multiple times for a few years, and it was like, yeah, there's some things I could question, but it's relatively the same. Nothing I could really put my finger on is clearly different. And then about 2 or 3 years into it, I'm watching it again, and the freaking the visual changed. Because do you remember Scrooge McDuck? In the middle of that song, he's running and the floor is falling away, and there's 2 of them running because in this temple the floor is falling away and they got to jump and catch to save their life. Well, quite clearly, and like confirmed multiple times prior, he had his cane, and Scrooge McDuck even though he's behind running, he makes the jump because he sticks his cane out and hooks the freaking ledge with his cane when he jumped, even though he jumped a little too late, but he managed to make it. Well, now his cane disappeared. I was so shocked. It's like, what the hell?
I don't remember this scene at all.
No.
I remember the money when he's like swimming in the coins,
Yep, and that's near the beginning. Yeah, in his vault. And here you can see he's behind sort of the bad guy running. So now when you go sort of screen by screen shot of it, or his jump, he does this like super boost in midair to make it all the way because he no longer has this cane to hook on because he falls a little short. But yeah, like for sure, like this isn't, oh, I remember it one way. I went over this video many times, and then one day, like 2-3 years after Mandela effect stuff was going on, his cane was gone. It's like, wow.
Really? Is there like a way that it shows where it just kind of like maybe it still looks like he has it?
No, I did find what I did. I went and I found which episode this scene comes from, and I watched through the episode, and he has his cane most of the episode, but then once they enter the temple, like he just doesn't have it anymore. And that like honestly, that's not completely uncommon because throughout all the episodes, he may or he may not have his cane. It isn't like, oh, he had it, so he has to have it. That's not necessarily the case. They did sort of draw it in sometimes and not others. But definitely, like, he had his cane in this scene. That's how he made the jump, because he hooked with his cane, and now the
I
cane.
wish you had that video footage of him like doing it with and without.
I don't have it with. It doesn't exist anymore, but I could show you. I mean, there's the music. I can't do the audio because you get nabbed for that. But anyone can look up the DuckTales intro, and
DuckTales, woo!
it was a great song. It's probably my favorite.
I
Probably
loved that song.
my favorite cartoon too. Actually. I love the DuckTales.
I never watched it.
No, I watched it come home from school. I loved it. Loved that one.
Wrongful Rage coming up with the Big Ten. Code Orange is a DHS code for imminent attack, their version of DEFCON 1.
Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah, didn't know that. Orange. Is that like Trump? Because Trump's orange. No. Actually, isn't DHS have orange in the colors, or is it red? For some reason, I might be totally wrong, but all that.
I don't know.
That's my excuse.
You Canadian.
Canadian. I know a lot of American shit, though. Clearly, everybody does. This is a Beach Boys song.
And we'll have fun, fun, fun until Daddy took the T-bird up. Fun, fun, fun until Daddy took the. Ooh, woo. Woo.
Well, she got her daddy's car and she's
Hmm?
cruising. Well, she got her daddy's car and she's cruising. Something hamburger stand now. I'll just tell you. This is how I knew the song was, well, she got her daddy's car and she's cruising to the hamburger stand now, right?
Wop, wop, a
Cruising
doo
to-
doo, wop, wop.
The song is currently, well, she got her daddy's car and she's cruising through the hamburger stand now. Like, she's cruising through it? That's weird. I don't.
Well,
maybe
if
back
it's
then there.
the car hops, then yeah, it would be through it.
Yeah, and this is definitely not one I would bet any seriousness on. It's certainly, I question it, but and
Mhm.
kind of sometimes put it out there because sometimes other people are very sure one way or the other, right? So that's just one
Mhm.
I'll throw out there. We haven't done much geography. It's very complicated to get into, but this is sort of almost a famous sort of residue image from a G.I. Joe cartoon, whereas it shows South America pretty much directly under North America, unlike it is in real life right now. Same with this one. I found this in a very old book. I think it was called The Federalist. There was some maybe it was a union or something that would put out a book, and not including this ring. The ring was there, but the wording may not. I was messing with this, doing some imaging because we actually put this on a shirt for a channel. I had my name on it, but the globe picture, like this, is legit out of an old book, and it very nice example of showing South America directly under North America instead of shifted way over to the east.
Is it shifted?
Oh dear heavens! I don't even.
South America has never been underneath the United States. In case you never knew that, Sarah. You can look at all world maps. It's shifted all the way east. Now it's completely east of the United States.
Hold up.
Just type in world map on
World
Google. Click on it,
map.
and then click on images.
I'm
You
sipping
can
right
scroll
out
through
of
thousands of images.
world
You're going
map.
to see the same thing in Google, internet, also physical reality. Geography is my favorite one. I'm hoping I can.
Well, yeah, because it
present
falls
something
under
after you're done.
Florida, right? Yeah. Florida's kind of like the center of it. Oop.
It is now.
Somebody just hopped on and they hopped off.
The whole continent is east of Florida.
Oh,
the whole
just to
continent of
send
South
a-
America.
Hold on.
Geography's so like complicated because I was mentioning to Sarah and everybody earlier, like, if someone says, oh, something's farther north or farther south or something's bigger or smaller, it's like, well, compared to what, right?
Yeah, compared to what?
And
Yeah,
it depends
I
on what
understand
you're
what you're saying.
referencing to, because things are so jacked and
Mhm.
like, it's difficult.
Yeah.
All right. We're doing this.
There's a guy with a shirt of Guinness that only has one end. Like,
I hope you don't get a copyright.
I'm just saying, this is like the most catchy song
It is.
ever. If you like, the minute you said DuckTales, in my head, I'm like, woohoo!
There's aeroplanes, it's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales.
Woo!
Is this from the early? Is this from the 80s or early 90s?
It would be
This
90s.
is like early 90s.
Yeah.
This
Okay,
is my
that's why I never
childhood right
watched it.
here, flashing before my eyes.
Every day that I've been making DuckTales.
Oh, do you remember the robot one?
Yeah, this isn't
The
the
fucking
original.
roller?
The very original intro didn't have the redhead guy or the robot at this point. So this was like maybe a season or two. The same song, but a season or two later they changed a couple of visuals in it. But most of it's
Fail.
already- No, not totally. I think
Danger.
Oh, do you remember the three burglars? These dudes.
yeah.
Oh my god, they cracked me up.
Behind you, there's a stranger out to find you. What to do? Just grab onto some DuckTales.
No, there was no Kane in that one.
No, he does a super jump. For an old
Super
guy.
jump. He's like a Super Mario brother.
There's a few things. It's as if so you consider a cane an aid, right, for a human. There's a few things where aids are missing. It's another sort of commonality. I got to try to think of the other ones. Maybe you can come up with one or two there. Reality shifter. I'll call you. I want to call you shifter, but there's some where there's aids missing. There's a couple. I'll have to think about it.
AIDS. I never heard of this one.
Oh, the glass is missing. Who's missing a glass? A single
monocle?
glass. Right?
Oh, you're talking about the monocle with the
Monopoly.
Monopoly guy.
That's right. That's one and one other example. I know there's three too.
I have a president that's missing a monocle. I'm not sure if you're aware of that one.
I'm not that good with your presidents.
I remember Theodore Roosevelt having a monocle. I have Residue books literally saying that he has a monocle. So,
Yeah, I know
yeah.
one of them did, but I have no idea which one to name.
I think we mix up the Pringles guy with the Monopoly guy. I don't know.
Well, the Pringles
Anyways,
doesn't have a.
I'm gonna go back to my childhood happiness now, so shut up.
Every day that I've been making DuckTales. Tales of daring, do bad and good DuckTales. Not ponytails or counting tails, no DuckTales.
I fucking love it.
It's a fantastic one. There's articles written on that song. It is like literally famous now. There's articles written how it's so catchy, why it's so catchy. Like it is probably the famous intro, most famous intro. It's the Home Depot, but here's an example of a Home Depot in Red Deer, Alberta that doesn't have the doesn't have the word the before Home Depot. But
Is there ever the?
they all are now. Besides this one that I found for some reason, it's the Home Depot.
Oh, and
It's Home Depot. Okay, so my children know Home Depot. They call it Mommy's Disney World. Okay.
Nice.
And we go to Home Depot. There is no the. Like
You might want to
the
look
kids.
at the sign next time you're going in or a
No,
bag.
it's Home Depot. It's fucking Home Depot. Damn it.
how about
My
how about
father for years drugged me through Home Depot, Heckinger, and all of those things for years. And now I'm grabbing my children and bringing them along too through Home Depot. There is no the.
I dare you
There's
to
no
Google
the.
Home Depot store and go to images.
Unacceptable. I wonder if it's on my app.
have you been to Lowe's, Sarah? Lowe's?
Oh, it's on the app.
Isn't it? It's everywhere.
Dirty. But,
How about
but
Lowe's,
no.
Sarah?
Hold on. The icon says the Home Depot.
Right.
But the actual app name says Home Depot. Look,
Okay.
I'll show you. Hopefully nobody. Hold on, let me put it on Do Not Disturb just in case some random person decides to text in this very moment. I'm going to try to get that up close. And, oh, fuck, it's not going to show.
It's very blurry.
Ah, let me turn the
It doesn't work out.
It's okay.
Brightness
I
down.
believe you.
You must have had to.
There we go. That might help.
Oh
See
yeah,
how it says
yeah. I see it.
Home Depot.
Yeah.
That's all it says. Now the icon says the app says Home Depot.
True.
So, bitch, what?
Go to Google and type Home Depot store.
No, you shut your mouth.
Every
You're ruining
one of
my.
them. I could've
You're
did that
ruining
for
me.
This one.
Sarah, what about Lowe's? You ever heard of Lowe's? You been there, Lowe's?
Yeah, I know Lowe's.
Yeah. Does it have does it have an apostrophe or no? At the end, apostrophe S.
No, it's just Lowe's.
Yeah, look it up. It's always had an apostrophe now.
No.
Yep, it's LOWE
You
apostrophe
can't
S.
put an apostrophe on a place name like that.
Yeah, what does that mean? That's like an ownership, isn't it? Apostrophe
That is
S?
an ownership. Like, who the fuck is Low? That's what I want to know.
Get low.
Where low? Get low with it. Low with it.
I knew of that change, and I didn't know which way's which. I'm not extremely familiar with Lowe's. It's a little bit more American. There's some around here, but only in recent era. I say, hey, what's going on?
What's going on?
Know that one?
Don't tell me
I'm
that change.
sorry in advance, and I said, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on?
What
You
has
said
it changed to?
You said it one way the first time, and then you said it the current way the second time. I knew it. I know it as I say, hey, but now it's I said. So it's a difference of say or say.
No way. It's said now?
No. Listen, the first part is I said, and I said, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on?
Well, there it is at the bottom, actually. Yeah, so it is. She's correct. It's currently I said, hey. I knew it as I say.
I have karaoke'd the fuck out of the song 1,000,001 fucking times. Don't fuck with me.
I believe that. Both parts of that.
Oh, my dad says Lowe's has an Dad?
Even your own family members are going to remember certain things different than you. So you're looking at a different version.
He probably goes to Lowe's. See, I like Lowe's for their designer stuff. So, like, if it's a light fixture, if it's like something that needs to be pretty, I go to Lowe's. If it's something that needs to be done, I go to Home Depot. Like, if I need lumber, sheetrock, plaster, with that or no, whatever crap. If it's like hardware, I go to fucking Home Depot because they get the shit right. But Lowe's, I go for their designer quality, for the pretty stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Dad and I, we go to Lowe's and Home Depot plenty of times, but he's probably been to Lowe's a lot more. Anyways, so I'm so sad that you even thought it said say.
Yeah, I say, hey. It was in present tense, not past tense.
And I said, hey.
And I say,
what's
hey.
going on?
He was singing in current tense, not past tense, but that's okay. We'll agree to disagree.
Well, because she is speaking. If you read this, like
that's a tough one for me.
The story of the song is all in past tense.
I know what you're saying. I analyzed it.
I feel like I remember the present tense too. I feel like I remember say.
It's a tricky one. I'll agree to that.
One.
Here's something I'd like to point out with. I spent literally 2 days, or at least a day and a half, looking for evidence of the song "In the Arms of an Angel" instead of "The Angel." I know you know it as "The Angel," Sarah.
Is this Celine Dion?
No, it's Sarah McLachlan.
Right. And I looked so long, and you get this, like, you get emotionally, like, embedded in, I have to find it. Like, I know it's the truth. I know it was the truth, or whatever, you get caught up in it. And it took me 2 days of going through covers. Let me tell you, that's a lot of I did a lot to find examples, and I found 2. And it took a long time. And I don't want to kill it, but my point is, the only 2 examples I found, which sort of like maybe means something, is this woman Very soft, kind woman.
In the arms of the angel.
She says Anne. So there was her, and there was a young girl who I have on here somewhere. I'd have to find it.
Yeah, but that's their interpretation. Like, that's what they're hearing. That's what they're doing. Doesn't mean it necessarily means it's the original.
That's an argument.
Yeah.
But I found it interesting that the only two people I found, I went through hundreds of covers. The only two people I could find was this lady and another young girl who was very she had glasses and pimples.
Yeah, but that's such a overplayed, over karaoke'd song. If you're looking for an angel, and that was the actual words, and it was showing up on, you would find significantly more videos than just two.
Why? What if it changed? Not necessarily.
You could have also tried searching key search terms on X, probably. That's a good way.
Yeah,
look for Residue.
X and Twitter wasn't very big in 2016. There
What
was a
I
great deal
use
on it.
in my life is
Anyway,
still-
I found that and this is just a good situation where this sort of came to light, but there's other situations where the people or examples of it had people that seemed to me did not have big egos. They had low egos. That doesn't mean they're less of anything, but they're kind-hearted people. And I found that I think that's a thing. I think there's some connection there as to why one may not saying you have to be a low ego person to remember something a certain way, but it's quite possibly more likely that ego gets in the way and you'll get updated easier. I don't ask me why. I'm just suggesting maybe that's the case. And after this, searching for examples of this, that I had that thought, maybe that's the case. But how about, what do you remember? Cracker Jacks or Cracker Jack?
Oh yeah, someone mentioned this in a chat earlier. They were asking which one is it. For me, it was Cracker Jacks. But ask.
I don't. Cracker Jack. I would go with Cracker Jack. I don't know. I don't really have anything.
Oh, so you don't relate to it.
Yeah.
And that's just it. You need to have a memory of the situation for sure. There's a person on
That
eBay.
again is going in if I said, ooh, I've got some Prosecco's, right? I have Prosecco, plural, meaning I have multiple. And Cracker Jacks means I have multiple of the little caramelized popcorn thingies or whatever.
And you can make the same argument that it was Cheez-It all along. It was never
Yeah,
Cheez-It.
it's not about how you pronounce it or say it. It's how you visually remember seeing it on packages.
Right.
Also,
You may be still speaking in plural.
And that's my big argument for Sex in the City. It doesn't even though it could possibly sound kind of close, I've seen it written IN thousands of times.
yeah, it was in for me too because I went to see that movie in 2009 with my ex-girlfriend. It was definitely in.
Did Kmart have a dash?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, according to current history, never did. And there's an old Kmart that's missing its dash, and they got a hell of a gap there. Yeah, Kmart never had a dash, apparently, according to current history. It's one that not too many people agree with me, but I certainly knew it as when I Kissed a Girl came out. Her name was Kate
I
Perry.
kissed a girl and I liked it. Taste of her cherry chapstick.
But her name was never set up as Kate Perry, apparently. I thought it was just she modernized her name and called herself.
Well, this looks Spanish. If it's
It is.
Spanish, it would make
Brazilian.
sense that they would put an E and not a Y.
But that's not her name. Or was whatever. It's a name. They don't change the name, no.
Yeah, but this, if you have an English but it's the way they say letters, right? And I feel like the name
Like if they were to use Donald Trump,
Juan.
they're
The
not gonna
name
translate
Juan.
Donald Trump to like different
Right.
letters.
But if it was like one thing and not another, if it was John and not Juan or something, right? Like there, I feel like they put KT. This is not. This would not be evidence for me. If you had English tabloids saying KT with the E
Just
and not
Kate. Not
yeah,
IE, just E, just Kate. I knew her as
But
Katy
not a
Perry, and
Y.
I thought
It was-
she changed her name to Katy Perry, and then it turned out no, it was always
I've
Katy.
always known her as Katy Perry.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, because wasn't she
there's not too many
the
people that agree with
what's that show?
Yeah, I've heard of this one.
What's that fucking show? The one where they get up and sing and American Can Sing or something. American Idol. She was an American Idol singer, wasn't she?
Was she? Maybe. I don't know. I know
Yeah.
she used to do like church singing, but I'm not sure. I know she went far from her church roots. Really far.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I put up a dono goal a little bit ago, and I asked if we should keep going or not. And you only halfway got us there. I'm going to give you a total of 3 minutes total to keep going, but I would much prefer to shut down. If anything, I would go on for maybe another half hour. But it is 12:30 for me.
I would like to share something if that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
What you got?
Oh, okay. I'll go ahead and share it quickly because I know you want to wrap up soon.
Mhm.
I have so much shit written down. I could have gone for 2 more just to
Oh,
ramble.
I'll bet.
I'll see if there's anything that's like might be good for you in particular.
Sarah, have you ever heard of Costa Rica?
Yeah.
Where is it located?
I have honestly no idea.
Okay. Well, many people, including myself, remember it being an island. It's never been an island. So this is on my website, MandelaEffects.net. I have a.
You cut out. You have what?
Did he? I was gonna say, did he mute himself or what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yep,
you just
we
the
got
first moment there. You said you have.
I have physical evidence of it being an island, how some of us remember it. There's people in this reality that have always known it to be in Central America, connected to Nicaragua and Panama. But I and many people experience it as an island in the Caribbean.
100% for me. Absolutely. I made a big video on this with a lot of residue as well.
Yeah, I got you down here, Noble. Don't worry.
Oh, really? Oh, you got my video in there.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll get to it.
I put some time into that one too.
Yeah, hell yeah. I give you a big shout out in here because that's like the best Costa Rica Mandela effect video in all of YouTube, in my opinion. So you went in, you provided like close to 50
Dude, he went on for like there was stuff I never even thought of.
Yeah, so this is pictures of physical evidence that I actually own to prove my memory. So here's a VHS tape from when? Hold on, when did I write it? Yeah, so it's from 1988. I wrote down all the facts. It's called The Island of Peace documentary by John Michel Costa. So let me ask you a question. But based on the cover of this VHS tape, right? Would you think Costa Rica is an island or not?
Well, this says Island of Peace. Oh, wait. It says Jean-Michel Costa explores Costa Rica, the country that abolished its own army. It says Island of Peace. Yeah, island.
Yeah, would you think it's an island?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
based off of what that says, yeah.
Yeah. So this is evidence of it being an island, except it's never been an island. And when I found this, I was like, I have to buy it to
Or
see if
maybe
there's
is South
any more.
America smaller than we thought? Good night, Dad.
It's in Central America, so it's not related to South America. But
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it somewhere? I don't know where. Let me look. Let me pull up a map so I can see.
So let me show you actually a map that I drew from my memories. You might recall this. I know, Noble, you've seen this before. So here's a map I drew from my memories. Do you remember South America being like this, directly underneath the United States?
Well, that makes sense based off what I'm looking at too. Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Nicaragua is off Nicaragua.
Me?
Panama.
Kind of. I would have said it was a little closer to Central America, and I knew the island as being kind of rectangularish, pointing north and south on the long ways. I actually remember this. I'm good with shapes, and I actually memorized it at the same time I memorized Puerto Rico. I did hand in hand. And so when people say, oh, you're mixing it up with Puerto Rico, I'm like, no, I memorized them both at the same time.
Yeah, I try to draw it as best, but you know, I can only do it best because that map doesn't even exist. So, but yeah, when Costa Rica was an island, this is where it was located. It was literally surrounded by water, southeast of Mexico, southwest of the Cayman Islands and Jamaica. It was like right there. It was in that general vicinity. But now South America in this reality has pushed all entirely east, and Costa Rica has become attached to Central America in this reality. So, you know, I decided to make a whole article on this with all the physical evidence I've actually compiled. I have this all in my closet. So I found this VHS tape on eBay for $10. I was like, oh my God, I have to buy this and like see if there's any more residual evidence of it in there. And sure enough, there is. I had to like pay $100 to get this digitized. It's 25 minutes long. But yeah, so that's one evidence. Here's National Geographic. This is called Blue Zone Science Longer. I even provide the page number. So I took pictures of the page. So here's the actual, when you open up the National Geographic magazine, this one, you open it up, you're going to see this, right? So this is page 38 on the left, and here's a picture of the guy in Costa Rica. So on the bottom of page 38, this part over here, if we zoom in, what does it say there? Can you read it?
At a market in Costa Rica, a vendor sells some of the island's healthiest foods, including squash, yams, and bananas.
Even though it's not an island. So National Geographic is referring to Costa Rica as an island when it's not even an island. So this is evidence right there.
I guess because it's kind of like tippish at the points. So
no, it goes from coast to coast.
No, you're right. I'm looking a little closer.
No, but an island is completely surrounded by water. You can't confuse it.
Maybe it magically connected over time. I don't know. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it literally happened when we shifted somewhere around 2015 or 2016. These geography changes literally happened overnight.
Yeah,
so this is
up an eye, as Edgar Casey would put it.
So this is proving that land masses don't even move. They're actually it's bullshit. It's old theory. So here's another book called Christopher Golden, written by Jack Rogan. It's called The Ocean Dark, actually. So right on the first page, as you can see on the bottom here, it says page 1 on the prologue, right? So can you read this part right here in the middle? Braulio.
The tip of his cigarette glowed orange in the gathering dusk. The breeze that swept through the wheelhouse carried the smoke away, but still the air felt stifling. Braulio had lived his whole life on the island of Costa Rica, or out on the open sea.
Oh, that's all we needed to know. So this book is referring to Costa Rica as an island as well, even though it's not an island.
That's cringe, bro.
And this is on page 1. So if I were to buy this, I wouldn't even read this because the author has his facts wrong. But it's actually evidence of that world. So the fact, based on my research, the fact that we're actually still seeing the word island, that reality still exists, except we can't see it. It's invisible.
Yeah, because you would say the island of... yeah, that's weird. Cringe.
You went to Costa Rica.
Yeah, so yeah, even Gibraltar, but that's another story.
You went to Gibraltar too. Yeah.
I'll have a whole Gibraltar article too. Maybe I could show it too after this one. But yeah, I actually went to Costa Rica back in 2019, 2018.
It's all a blur for me now, man.
Yeah, I went there to actually kind of like investigate and also, small vacation. But, I was asking people there, I was like, have you ever heard people refer to...
You cut out.
I was going to say, I thought it was me.
Yeah, and now you're muted. Maybe something emergency happened there. Shifter, are you with us? You're muted. Maybe something happened. Wait, I'm back. You're back. No, your mic's pretty low.
Can
hear me?
Yeah, you're kind of like you sound like you're.
Oh, can you hear me
There you
now?
are. Yeah, we got you.
Oh, my bad. I was playing with the mic. Pause.
What'd that mic do to you?
And there's the extra donut.
But yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, so I went to Costa Rica. Now, I was asking people, hey, have you ever met people? Because obviously you're not gonna meet, they've always, Costa Ricans, you go there, you actually, they've never known it to be an island. They've always known it to be how it is now. So we're coming from another reality, and I'm going to their reality. If you can picture that. And so I'm asking them, have you ever met other foreigners that believe this place to be an island, or have they ever called it an island? And more than half of the people said yes. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. I'm like, because I actually come from a reality where it's actually an island. And so I was like, this is the reason why I was there, to do some investigative work.
Nice.
Here's another book. This is literally a book about Costa Rica, The Essential Guide to Customs and Culture, right? So if you turn to page 52, as you can see right there, I even wrote down the page numbers, all the facts here below. In 2012, book Costa Rica, Culture Smart, The Essential Guide, is referred to as an island on page 52. It says, quote, Costa Rica is an island of relative stability in an area of political and social unrest. We can see it right here.
Oh, weird.
Costa Rica is an island of relative stability in an area.
Wow.
This is literally a book about Costa Rica. You can actually buy these books yourself. They're on eBay, Amazon. Just search them and you can see it for yourself. Physical evidence. I have these in my closets.
Well, this is a great place to stop on. I don't even know what word to use. My mind is blown.
Are you any more convinced on the Mandela effect?
I think that there's still like when we mix up grammar and we mix up we apply our own thoughts to some things, I think that sometimes that does take effect. But in essence, I think that there is some type of weird thing going on where we're all seeing this, and it's like, why do we all remember something different? So it is quite strange. But final thoughts. Let's start with you, Emmy.
Final thoughts. Thank you for having me. Great show, and I hope this opens people's eyes for the non-believers or people saying that this is bullshit. It's not. It's a real phenomenon.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Nobleness D?
As a final thought, I think I'll just say what I would say if I had one message for anybody in the world ever, and everything that I've analyzed and learned and tried to figure out about reality. And that goes far beyond Mandela effect stuff. So religion, spiritual, everything, reality, existence. If there's the most important thing, I think, for everybody is that what's most important is that you live and die with no fear and no hate. If you can avoid hate and fear, your death will be much easier, and possibly your next life will be a lot better.
That's pretty simple and fair and to the point.
It's that simple.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited. We've officially hit 4K subscribers, and we are coming up on the 1-year mark as well. Tomorrow night, Friday night, you can expect a bigger one of these and lots more intoxication. Neo Starling and I will be celebrating our 1-year mark and now officially our 4,000 subscriber mark. So here's a little preview. It's a little extra long, but if you feel like watching it, or you can go watch it on the videos plug. But gentlemen, thank you for your thoughts this evening. My brain is fried.
Thank you.
Outside of that, everyone, fuck off.
All right, well, let me go ahead and hit the intro then, since we fucked that one up. All right.
Raging Tomato. The Raging Tomato. Raging Tomato. The Raging Tomato. Raging Tomato. Raging Tomato. Raging Tomato. Raging Tomato.
Not here to necessarily roast or hate on anybody. Here reporting to you live the news from the Manosphere, whoever the fuck I want to bring on, and it's a shit show, it's a debate, it's a this, it's a that. It's
I do have another window open. Okay, I just closed it.
Oh, fair enough. See, it's all Neo's fault, guys.
That's my bad, my bad. All right, we're gonna end this.
This is not your show.
I'm not used to that.
But, you know, if women just learn more on how to shut up and listen, like, dedicate this stream to Carrie. That is not the perfect summation of the manosphere. If it were a bar, then I don't know what else is.
That was awesome. I love the OnlyFans girls. Just like looking over.
Boom, bass, booty shaking. Women ain't nothing. Take their money. They can't do nothing but give you this. Don't trust man, woman.
He's like, I find it inappropriate that we're dating and you're dating other guys online. And I'm like,
oh, well, serial killers are just demon possessed, and like leave it at that.
For those that don't know, like mixtapes in our day, that was like serious.
There we are.
What have I gotten myself into?
It's gonna be crazy.
It's on you with a smile. Leave you like you left me.
Oh man, were you guys expecting a bunch of hot, beautiful ladies to be on screen tonight? What do you guys normally talk about when the girls aren't around? Well, I mean, I'm a woman, so I get told I'm not funny every day.
am I being abducted? I don't want to, it's not something that I just say you should do because you have to have like the temperament for it.
Oh, hang on, it's buffering. 1 second. Fucking YouTube always does this to me. Drives me crazy.
My feminine rump is large enough to take on.
Cheers to you, Drippy.
I got
Cheers.
it.
Cheers.
My bottle goes upside down when I go that side.
I forgot I'm muted.
I do not eat well. I don't exercise. I should be a train wreck.
With lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, mustard, all that fun stuff, some pickles.
So bringing more men and women together to be fuck buddies.
Nothing that's going to attract the YouTube police.
Well, you're fucking the moderator. Bro, you're fucking the moderator.
Unleashed. I've been unleashed.
There's illegal religion in the third part.
Do you play Dungeons and Dragons?
Do you do
Dungeons and Dragons?
You could just call me a fucking cunt to my face.
You are probably the biggest fucking scumbag that I've met this year, and I know Destiny.
Women are throwing a birthday party and men are crying and they can't blow out the candles.
Because you can't craft a fucking sentence without going ahead and taking up 2 to 3 minutes. I need money for custody.
Okay, you're monologuing and I have no idea what you're saying.
Nave, time to shut up now. Stop talking, Nave. Are you ready for it, Flo?
I got my orange juice.
How come people aren't holding him responsible?
Yeah, you seem like a very sweet tomato.
Sweet tomato. But, oh my God, you say tomato.
Tomato.
Every sitcom death since 1985 has been a bumbling retard. The same or like worse side effects. I was having like a bad divorce.
I'm not saying that fault divorce is a flawed system. Perhaps. I'm not listening to that judo mantra bullshit.
Judo? You mean Jedi? Come on.
It's about going on a journey.
You did good. I'm proud of you.